January 23rd, 2024 regular Board of Education meeting. We are joined here tonight by our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. R.J. Weber, the Central Office leadership team over there, the best in the business. We are joined by the high school team, Mr. Koski. We'll welcome all of you, but before we get into too much business here at all, I'd ask you all to rise and join us and Giselle in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Giselle Khalife, and I'm a senior at NHS and the president of our high school student congress. I want to start off the meeting by saying thank you to all the board members for all that you guys do for the students and staff at Northville High School, and everyone in the district. We truly appreciate all that you guys do behind the scenes to make the school and district a better place for us. A sincere thank you from myself and the entire student body at NHS. And at this time, would everyone please stand like you're doing and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. One last thing, it's Board Appreciation Month, so the students and the staff at NHS have a shirt and a few stickers for our board members as a small token of our appreciation. Thank you again, NPS board members, for all your hard work and dedication to us as students and the staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm up.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. So we do have a big night ahead of us tonight. We have, first and foremost, and I know on everyone's mind, our NHS presentation. And I promise that I will get us to that as quickly as possible. But we do have some orders of business, and I'll hand it over first to our secretary. Ms. Stewart, please, for roll call.
All right. President Wilson?
Here.
Vice President McIntyre?
Here. Good evening.
Treasurer Campbell-Voitel?
Here. Good evening.
Trustee Mazurek?
Here.
Trustee Meyer?
Here.
Trustee Prescott?
Hi, everyone. I'm here.
And myself, Secretary Stewart. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That brings us to number 4 on our agenda, which is the adoption of our agenda. I'll hand it over to Ms. McIntyre, please.
Okay. I'd like to bring forth motion 70 that the agenda be adopted as presented. Support.
So I have a motion properly presented by Ms. McIntyre and supported by Ms. Meyer. Need any discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. The motion passes. Thank you so much. That brings us to our consent resolutions. Again, I will hand it over to our Vice President, Ms. McIntyre, please.
Okay. I'd like to bring forth motion 71 that the board accept the consent agenda items for approval as presented. This is 5A, minutes of the January 16th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. 5B, overnight and or out-of-state field trip requests, including 5B1, Meads Mill Academic Games Tournament in Ypsilanti, Michigan from March 14th to the 16th, 2024. 5C, U-Fly K2 and English 9 adoption. 5D, Novi Virtual Consortium Cooperative Agreement. 5E, Emma Yang Research Proposal. 5F, bill warrants totaling $1,407,664.22. Support.
All right, so I have a motion properly presented again by Ms. McIntyre and supported by Dr. Campbell-Voitel. Any discussion on any of these items? I took a look. The minutes look good to me. Any other comments?
No, just that we spent a couple hours last week at the committee of the whole going through most of these, or in finance, going through them. So these have been pretty well vetted and talked about from the team. So this is not the first time that we've seen these.
Also, I just wanted to comment, I made a change to minutes for my board colleagues, and I appreciated the secretary and Ms. Irving accommodating that. So these are as amended.
Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, our consent resolutions pass, and that brings us to our communications. Ms. Stewart, please.
All right. We've received several emails through npsboe@northvilleschools.org communications, as well as the Northville Youth Network program report for December 2023.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And without further ado, that does bring us to our Northville High School presentation tonight. This is one of our favorite nights of the year. This is a fantastic celebration that we all look forward to, and I'll hand it over to, looks like Mr. Koski.
Good evening. Good evening. First of all, want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you to the board. it is Board Recognition Month, and our students and staff did give you a couple shirts and a couple stickers, and I'll comment on the sticker in a minute. If the shirt size don't work, email me, come see me, I'll get you a new one, okay? So, and thank you to Mr. Samolsky for always taking care of us on those shirts. I do want to take the time to give one group of thank yous here before we start, and that's my partners at Northville High School, and that's our administrative team at the high school. If they could stand when I call their names, please hold your applause until the end. Janice Loomis, who is our 11th grade principal. Crystal Muhammad, who is our 10th grade principal. We have Emily Aluya, who is our senior principal. Jim Gordon, who graduated from seniors, is back down and graduated a freshman, our freshman principal, Mr. Gordon. And then our athletic director, Mr. Samolsky. And I also have to mention our school resource officer, Michael Brown, who's just an awesome asset to our group too. So could we give this group a round of applause, please? Thank you. So our president started off really well today by saying this is a celebration. A lot of times you think a board meeting's long and boring maybe, but tonight is really a celebration of what our students and staff do at Northville High School. I'm fortunate enough to give student tours to incoming students quite a few times in a year. And I really don't get sick of bragging about our facilities, first of all, but more importantly, bragging about our students and our teachers and our staff. It's easy to brag. I always talk about 4 areas. I talk about our academics, obviously. I talk about our athletics. I talk about our fine and performing arts. And then I also talk about our clubs, which makes us very unique in our environment. And what a celebration every year. Last year, I made a comment here that this isn't normal. What you're seeing tonight is not normal. The awards we get, whether it's national merit, whether it's athletic awards, whether it's personal project, and there's not a lot of music recognition tonight, but there's so many things to celebrate at Northville High School, and it's not normal. But the thing that is crazy, can one of the board members hold up the sticker we gave you? President, can you read that to the crowd there?
Get better every day.
Get better every day. That's a motto the athletic department used. That's a motto we use as a school. And we got better every day because we have more awards this year. It's incredible. We're getting better every day. And I also want to thank our board and our teachers and our students and our parents for really driving us to get better each day. So I want to thank that. With that, with that comes that Mustang pride. But soak it in tonight. This isn't a regular board meeting. It truly is a celebration. So we're going to get it kicked off, but I certainly want to say we're getting better every day, and we're proud to be a Mustang. Thank you.
Good evening. As Mr. Koski mentioned, I'm Janice Loomis, one of the assistant principals here. At this time, could I have any National Merit Scholars please come forward and stand at the front of the stage?
Okay.
When you have hardworking, determined students.
Yep.
Oh, that's sure. Glad I remembered that.
All the National Merit Scholars come forward, please. When you have hardworking, determined students, supportive parents, committed teachers, and district leaders, the sky is the limit. And we're going to see that throughout the evening. In this case, what we see is we have 65 National Merit Scholars this year. And so we are celebrating them. But before, I want to point out what that actually means and give you a little perspective. If we look at the pie chart up there, we see that over 1.5 million high school students take the PSAT test every year. And the dark blue area represents where 98% of them score. And then that little green sliver and that little orange sliver, that's where our National Merit Scholars scored. Less than 2% of the students in the nation score that high. And so I would like to congratulate them on their amazing achievement. And to get an idea of who's here tonight, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your future areas of study and where you're hoping to go to school.
I'm Kyle Brown. I hope to study either business or engineering, and I hope to attend the University of Pennsylvania.
My name is Kieran Dooley. I hope to study naval architecture at the United States Naval Academy.
I'm Vishalakshi Mayappan, and I hope to study data science at University of Michigan.
My name is Adele Hu, and I plan to study biomedical engineering at the University of Michigan.
We are so proud. Thank you so much. You can get your photos with parents, and your certificates are out in the hall afterward.
Guys, you can scoot up to the middle. Parents, if you want to get any pictures, please come on up right now. Scoot right to the middle, guys. Right to the middle.
Somebody forgot their boots.
That won't be.
Right up there, right up there. Go Navy. Any more pictures? So just one comment from my standpoint, I make this comment every year and I'll continue to make it to understand how prestigious, I guess, this award is to receive this. First of all, we have 65 National Merit Scholars this year between commended and semifinals and finalists, I think are announced at the beginning of February. They all must be studying tonight for finals. So, but very, very seriously, I was at a very good school on the west side of the state. In my 10 years as administrator there, we had one National Merit Commended Scholar. We have 65 this year, 65. So, and again, that was a very good school on the west side. So hats off to the 4 that here and to the 61 others that aren't here. It's an incredible accomplishment. So I just wanted to say that. One last round of applause for this group. Thank you, guys. I think Ms. Mohammed's coming up now with personal projects, MYP personal projects.
So good evening, I'm Crystal Mohammed, also 10th grade level principal here at Northville High School. At this time, can I please have all of the MYP personal project participants come up and line up right here on the side? While you guys come up, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you all a little bit about the International Baccalaureate MYP personal project. In the journey of life, the truest wisdom is found in the pursuit of knowledge. A commitment to being a lifelong learner is a passport to endless discoveries and a testament to the richness of our human experience. The personal project is a key component of the International Baccalaureate Middle Years program. It's designed to empower our students to apply their learning in both a meaningful as well as a personalized way. The MYP project is a culminating project that takes place at the end of our students' 10th grade year. They decide if they like to participate or not, and it serves as a demonstration of the students' ability to engage in sustained as well as self-directed inquiry. Sherry Slater is actually the driving force behind our personal project here at Northville High School. Unfortunately, she was unable to make it here tonight, but we are still both honored as well as proud to have and honor our personal project students here tonight. With that being said, I'm going to ask that each of our personal project students who completed the project, we have 26 of them. They're going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of information about who they are, what they did for their personal project, and what they learned from this experience. So students, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arjun Sani. I'm a current junior at, of course, Northville. And my project was on a stop motion animated film. Now, I chose to pursue this as growing up, one of my biggest passions was both Legos and, of course, watching movies. So I found the MYP personal project to be an amazing opportunity for me to explore and combine both of these passions in a new, unique way. So my film was about a man who creates a time machine, and of course the consequences that come from creating one, right? And one or two things that I learned from this include just how to make a stop motion animated film, which, don't get me wrong, it's really, really hard to make one. And another important thing that I learned is just the importance of like pacing and how to make a film that's both impactful and makes the viewer just think a lot about it long after they finish it. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Addison Hilfinger. I'm a current junior as well at Northville High School, and I took MIP Personal Project my fall semester of my sophomore year. For my project, I redesigned the structure as well as the core of my bedroom after moving to a new house. And you may think it's a simple task, but I realized throughout the process that there's a lot more that goes into it. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be able to create a task independently and have the determination to go through with it. Some things that I learned from my project are how a space can impact your productivity as well as your motivation, and how the space around you really does impact many aspects of your life.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Fuller, and I learned to fly for my personal project. So I flew up until the pre-solo test, and at that point, the only thing I had left to do to solo was pass a medical and actually do the solo. The most important things that I learned are about flying. I learned a lot about how the planes actually work and how the aerodynamics work. And I also learned that there's a lot more that goes into flying than just working the stick.
My name is Anna Provo, and I took the MYP Personal Project as a class in my fall semester of sophomore year. My project was learning 3 songs on the guitar, each varying in the level of difficulty. One most important thing I learned was still working even when things are challenging and pushing yourself.
My name is Manya Gowda. I took MIP as an extracurricular, and I made a small business selling candles I made. And I learned about a lot of business skills and time management skills.
My name is Hudson Boots, and I created a system with the Northville Library where kids could exchange fishing poles and they could go out and learn how to fish. And I learned strong communication skills, and I also learned how to start a proper fundraiser.
My name's Ritvik Elandula, and I'm also a junior here at one of the best school districts in the world. And my project was making a model of the brain and kind of understanding how it works. For me, I think this was really valuable because I was able to explore my curiosity. And I think like one big lesson I learned from this was just to always try to understand the mechanisms behind like what we do, because understanding why we do what we do and like why we take the actions we like take was definitely a big reason for me doing it. So always just having that curiosity in every aspect of life is definitely a big lesson I've learned.
Hello, my name is Isabella Mock, and I love animals. I actually have 3 pets myself. So when I was deciding what to do for my personal project, I knew I wanted to do something that involved pets and animals. So I hosted and organized a drive to get old t-shirts and fabric, and then I used those to make a variety of different toys and blankets that I later donated to shelter animals. And what I learned through this is communication skills. In order to get the fabric and really make the drive work, I had to talk to a variety of different people, and I was able to learn different ways of communication and how to best promote something like a fundraiser or drive I also learned how to work with others. It took a long time to make these, so I did get help from a lot of people, and I learned really just how to work as a group efficiently.
Yeah, at this time, if I can have you all scoot down towards the middle. Photo, parents, please come up, bring photo opportunities. Awesome, congratulations, students. You all also have certificates that are right outside on the table, so please make sure you grab your certificates on the way out. And thank you all to our board for all your continued support with our IB personal project.
So first of all, going with kind of our motto tonight is get better each day or every day. We certainly did that in athletics this past fall. Arguably, what you're seeing doesn't happen. It would take 10, 20 years, even maybe a whole school history to see what happened this spring at Northville High School. And congratulations to the student athletes, and I say that because student always comes before athlete here, and then also to the coaches for their mentorship. I also want to recognize one of the most outstanding, I'm going to say it, ADs in the country, and that's Mr. Samolsky. He's also our region athletic director of the year. He's going to hate me for saying that, but congratulations. He likes recognition almost as much as I do. So, all right, congratulations to our athletic teams, our fall athletic teams, student athletes, coaches, and Mr. Samolsky. He's got a lot to say tonight, and I know coaches do too.
All right, thank you, Mr. Koski. I was hoping that part wouldn't get out. But that's those kind of awards, and it's all to do with the coaches, the student athletes that we have at this school. Nothing really to do with me. It's more of a overall award for Northville High School and the athletic department. Before we get started here, I'd just like to thank Dr. Weber and his team and the Board of Education for having us here tonight and understanding the importance of extracurriculars and athletics and celebrating these students. So, as Mr. Koski said, this could be a whole school's history of all the awards that we have tonight. We're honoring 9 different fall teams with multiple championships, and then there were 6 coaches this fall that earned Coach of the Year in some shape or form. So that is where we're going. And thinking about this, I was reading something that Coach K wrote, and he said, if not careful, you can think of all of these cool, successful things are routine. Don't take special for granted. And this is truly a special place to be, and it was a special fall, and that goes a thank you to all our coaches, our student athletes, our parents, our families, our board, and our district for allowing us to have such a special place to do what we do. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off by just calling the teams up. We'll start with mountain biking. Coaches will come up, they'll talk a little bit about their season, introduce any student athletes they have with them here tonight, and then they'll slide over to the middle, take a picture, and then we'll move on to the next team. And real quick, Coaches of the Year, Coach Tim Dalton, he'll be here with the boys cross country team. He was regional and state Coach of the Year. Coach Colin Riley, our girls cross country coach, he was regional Coach of the Year. Kate, our golf coach, she was regional Coach of the Year. She's here tonight. Coach Luplo was regional Coach of the Year for football. He's here tonight. Sarah Lindstrom, is Coach Lindstrom here? Yeah, she is. She was regional Coach of the Year. She coaches our volleyball team. And then Molly Parks is our dive coach, part of the swim and dive staff. She was regional Coach of the Year. So those are all our fall Coaches of the Year. So we'll start off with mountain biking. Coach Paul, they were Division II state champions.
Okay, thanks. So we only have 2 of our athletes here today, but we have an amazing group of 30 athletes this fall and 10 amazing coaches as well that made this a special season for us. We have a tremendous range of experiences on the team as well as abilities, but everybody brings something to the team that makes it important for us. I think the key to our success is how much fun we have together. Mountain biking is a fun thing to do, and it's much more fun when you're doing with people you really enjoy. So that's really the key to our success. I think what that does is it makes all the work not seem so much like work. The team does put in a lot of work throughout the season and race hard in the 6 race season that we have in the fall season. But it never seems like work to me. We're always having so much fun. So that's the reason why we do so well. I know other teams have fun too, but probably not the same level we do. Thank you. This is Lily, who's also coming back up with the cross country team, and Grace, who was a new member of the team this year, who did fantastic. So.
And parents, if you want to take pictures, parents, now's the time to take pictures.
Thanks, guys, and congratulations on a great season. Also, each student athlete will receive a certificate. The coaches have those, and we'll get those to you. Up next is our football team. They were KLA division champions and MHSA district champions. Coach Luke Lowe and the football team.
Thank you, board. Thank you, admin, for having us out. This is an awesome night, a really cool event for the school. I'm coming up on a year being at Northville High School. I was hired about a year ago next month, and the support has been awesome. It's something that I haven't been a part of. Community support, Friday nights in the fall on 8 Mile were really exciting. These kids put in a lot of work in the off season, a lot of work in the fall, and they're doing so for next year already, and their work paid off. We talked about when I got here how we wanted to win championships, and it kind of came about through some really hard work, and we talked about respect, effort, accountability, and love. We kind of lived that each day, and these guys bought into the mission, and they saw success happen. So we are 10-2, second 10-win season in school history. We won our district championship for the first time since 2000, beating that rival across town. We had a lot of individual awards. We had kids win all region, all conference. We had 3 first-team all-state players, and we had some 11 academic all-state honorees, along with a team academic all-state honorable mention honoree, which is important to us as well as the academic piece. So I'll quickly go through and name the young men that are here. We have about 56 on the roster, but again, probably 40 of them are studying for finals tomorrow. We got Denver Campbell, we got Josh Travis, Derek Seitz, Macklin Hart, Luke Perinello, Hudson Boots, Ron Oppett, Owen Ross, Cullen Murphy, Evan Deek somehow arrived and snuck into the group, Colin Charles, Michael Saigon, Hassan Elzayat, Adam Travers, Dilian Yousefi, Ryan O'Neill, and Drew Rankin. Thank you, guys.
Parents, come on up to take pictures. Parents, if there's any parents who want to take pictures, come on up.
Stay there, stay there.
Hey, hold the certificate, man. What is it?
Smile.
Hey, you wanna
Next year we gotta get some player speeches going. We gotta get some player speeches going next year. Oh yeah. I could have stepped up to the plate today.
Good stuff.
All the little mates.
Again, congratulations to Coach Luke Loeb and the entire football program on an outstanding season. Up next is our girls swim and dive season with Coach McNuff. They were KLA division and conference champions, qualified for states, and finished 7th overall.
Thank you very much. I just first want to thank the administration as well and the board for having us here. It's always an honor to be here and be represented. So we had another wonderful season. We won our conference for the 8th year in a row, and our division, I'm not sure how many times we've won that in a row, but a lot. And just had another great year. We had the group that went to the state meet this year. We had 14 people on the team, and more than half of them were first-time members of the team, which showed the growth that we had as a team. And that was kind of the big theme this year, was showing how much we improved from the beginning to the end. And it was just a great thing to see all those people, new swimmers, new divers, compete and do well. And it was just another great season. Our team motto this year was "Every second counts," and I think they made that happen. And that was both in the pool and out. It was just a great year all around, and really thankful for everything that they did and all that we achieved this year. So up here we have Catherine White, Nora Bryan, Rachel King, and Adele Crew.
Parents, come on up, get your pictures. All right, congratulations to the girls swim and dive team and all their student athletes. Up next, we have our girls golf team, coached by Coach Schultz. They were division champs and finished 6th overall in the state.
Hi, welcome. First, I want to thank the Board of Education. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Dr. Rubber and his Colt team, thank you for supporting us. Still trying to get Dr. Rubber out on the golf course to play around with us. And a special thanks to my administration team. I'm a counselor here at NHS. Kate Schultz, by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. Thank you to my administration team for helping me be there for both my students and my athletes during kind of a short but long golf season in the fall. My assistant coach, I want to thank too, Trish Murray. Couldn't do without her. Fun fact, she started the girls golf program here at NHS in 1991 and coached for 14 seasons, both the boys and the girls. Was my mentor when I won states here in 2002. So couldn't have done it without her. So thank you, Trish. So this year was supposed to be actually a rebuilding year because we lost 4 of our top 6 girls from last year, and these girls showed up. They played their hearts out, lots of personal bests, and we ended up highlight of the season beating Brighton on our own home turf. They were ranked number 1, undefeated in match play, and we showed up and beat them to win the division title. We got 3rd in the region to make it to states and got 6th in the state as basically a new team. So we were an academic all-state team with over a 3.6 GPA as a team. And Sonia Single was an honorable mention all-state for all states. So many personal bests, like I said, and the girls did a phenomenal job. I'm going to introduce them. We have Audrey Pilon, she's one of our captains, Grace Bay, Sonia Single, Mira St. Carr, one of our other captains, Naz Gill, Ava Lennox, one of our 3rd captain, Serena Koo, Sophia Gaudino, Joyce E., Linnea Rickert, and Avery Dressler. Thank you.
Scoot down, ladies, scoot down. Parents, come on up and take pictures. Ladies, if you could scoot down a little bit under the picture.
That's true, Mr. Mazurek. Oh, I didn't see that one. Right. Good job.
And congratulations to the golf team again on such a great season. Up next, we have our girls cross country team. The girls cross country team were regional champs this year, qualifying for states and finishing 6th place overall at the state meet.
Dr. Weber, members of the board, Mr. Koski, NHS administration, Mr. Samalski, and Mrs. Lamerson, thank you for hosting us this evening and supporting our team this season. Congrats as well to all the other teams for your impressive accolades. We feel humbled to have contributed to such an incredible fall for Mustang athletics. I'm Coach Colin Riley. I'm joined by my awesome assistant coaches, Emma Herman and Vicki Mitchell, as well as our NXC state team of Annabelle Beloyu, Mia Carson, Ella Christensen, Molly Kate Coates, Lily Connors, Cassie Garcia, Rosie Gregory, Maya Labonte, and Colette Lozo. With 53 girls on roster, our 2023 team was the largest Northville girls cross-country team in program history. Preparation for our season began with summer conditioning in June. In August, we took 43 girls to camp up north in Glen Arbor, where we came together as a team through Sunsets on the Beach, a Barbie-themed run, and the Chick Olympics Team Challenge. We asked them to believe in a new coaching staff and system. We made the change as well from captains to a senior leadership group, whom we entrusted with increased ownership and responsibility. And I know I speak for my coaches as well when I say all 53 girls made all 3 of us feel incredibly welcomed, respected, and most importantly, trusted. As the season progressed, the girls enjoyed established team traditions like tubing in Ann Arbor, team dinners, the homecoming parent breakfast, and some new ones like the downtown skeleton scavenger hunt run. These girls also gave back to their community by volunteering at the Croc Walk for Hunger for the 3rd straight year. And Coach Vicki and Cassie Garcia also volunteered with Girls on the Run Thornton Creek. On to competition. Early season, we opened up the Lamplighter Invite, co-hosted our home Mustang Invite, won the varsity and JV races at the Bath Invite, and finished 4th at MSU and Jackson Invites. Mid-season, we finished 6-1 in the KLAA West Division, had a great senior night, and Cassie and Ella ran the 8th and 9th fastest all-time performances on our home course at Cass Benton. They were just in front of their assistant coach's time here, Coach Emma. We split our squad the first weekend of October. Our second 7 finished 7th at the Wayne County Invite against other schools' top teams, with Sammy Gale and Maya Labonte finishing all county, and our top 7 took 5th at the competitive Portage Invite. On to the postseason, we started by finishing runner-up to Brighton in the KLA Conference, where our entire top 7 of Cassie Garcia, Ella Christensen, Colette Lozo, MK Coates, Mia Carson, Annabelle Beloyu, and Rosie Gregory all earned individual all-conference honors. That same top 7 went on to win the 11th regional title in program history, with Ella, Cassie, and Colette earning all-region individual honors. And they culminated their season with an impressive 6th place finish at the state meet. Ella led the way in 8th place, tying the highest individual finish in NXC girls history, with Cassie close behind. Both earned all-state honors. And these girls also excelled in the classroom. 18 of our 53 girls were KLAA scholar athletes, 6 of whom are here this evening. And Annabelle Beloyu and Ella Christensen also earned individual academic all-state accolades. In November, we concluded our season by honoring our seniors at the traditional shoe tree ceremony and had a wonderful banquet at Ginetti's, where we celebrated a season of wide smiles, beautiful belief, and fierce competition. All 3 coaches are tremendously proud of these girls' accomplishments, and we cannot wait for the 2024 season. Thank you.
Scoot over, ladies, scoot over. Picture time, parents, picture time.
Congratulations again to our girls cross country team on an outstanding season. Up next is our boys soccer team. Coach Henry couldn't make it here, so his assistant JT is here to speak on their behalf. The boys soccer team had an outstanding season, winning the KLA division and conference championships. Then MHSA, they went on to win the district, regional, and making it to the Final Four. Boys soccer.
Thanks everyone for being here today. Thank you for the board as well as all of NHS admin for the recognition today. Like Brian said, head coach Henry was unable to make it today, but we are super proud of what we accomplished in the fall of 2023. During the regular season, we were division champs as well as conference champs, and in the postseason, we put together a really good run. We were district champions, region champions, and for just the third time in our program's history, we made it to the state semifinal, the Final Four game, eventually losing a heartbreaker in overtime to the eventual champions, Troy Athens. But we got a lot of team recognition during the year, a lot of individual recognition during the year, including 5 guys who got all-state honors, 2 on the first team as well as 1 dream team. Our team was also a team. We also got a team academic award. We're saying farewell to 8 seniors who served this program very well, but we are definitely looking forward to putting our best foot forward and having a successful fall of 2024.
Parents, come on up. Take pictures. Parents, come on up.
All right, congratulations to boys soccer again on the awesome season. All right, up next is our volleyball team and Coach Lindstrom. The volleyball team this year won the KLA Division and Conference Championships. They won the MHSA District and Regional Championships, making it to the state semifinals game and ending up into the Final Four.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My name is Sarah Lindstrom, and I am the varsity coach for the volleyball program. This is my 3rd year at Northville, and when I first came in, there was a great foundation that we were already starting on, but we told these young ladies that we wanted to build on that foundation, make some changes, keep a lot of what they had going on, and just get better as the years progressed. So the remarkable thing about not just this year, but in the 3 years that I've been here, that the senior classes of young women up here have done is absolutely incredible. This season, they finished with a 48-3 record. We dropped our very first match and went 30 matches before we dropped another, and the 3rd one was in the state semifinals. So they were spread out pretty evenly throughout the year. They did win the district championship for the 3rd year in a row, the regional championship for the 3rd year in a row, Elite 8 and 2 semifinals and 1 final appearance, all in the 3 years that the senior class has been here. With that being said, they had a historic record-breaking 3 years with winning 144 matches in 3 seasons and only dropping 12 of those matches. And there's not a player standing up here that has ever lost a match in our conference, which is absolutely incredible. 30-0 over the last 3 years. It's something I don't know that I've ever actually seen. We have all conference players standing in front of you: Avery Nelson, Greta McKee, Ashley Naw, Ella Craigs, Mallory Reck, and Molly Reck. That same exact group were all 5, all 6 were all region, which was the most amount of all region players from one school. And also Ella Craigs was awarded 1st team All-State, Avery Nelson 2nd team All-State, Greta McKee 3rd team All-State. To have this type of group is absolutely incredible. I'm honored to have been a part of this program and be able to see these student athletes be able to perform not only in the classroom, but on the court as well. And we are very proud of all their accomplishments and can't wait to see what the future holds.
Parents, come on out, get some pictures. Ladies, scoot down a little bit. Scoot to your left, ladies.
Could we get a parent volunteer to take a picture? Oh, we do have one parent.
Congratulations again to the volleyball team on an outstanding season. All right, up next, we have our boys tennis team. Our boys tennis team who are KLA division champions, conference champions, regional champions, qualifying for state and ending up state runner-up, taking second place overall in the state of Michigan. Also think it's important to point out, he's not here, but Sasha was our #1 singles, and he was also voted Mr. Tennis, which is the best tennis player in the state of Michigan. So another very cool individual award. All right, Coach Young and the tennis team.
Okay, first of all, thanks to the board for taking the time to recognize our team. Thanks to Mr. Smolsky and administration for allowing me the opportunity to be able to lead these young men. This year, we started with 70 tennis players, whittled it down to 3 teams, 46 athletes. We competed in over 50 competitions throughout the 3 teams throughout the season. This year, again, we were academic all-state with a 3.87 average GPA. We were 17-2 in our dual matches this year. We had 3 second-place tournament finishes, 5 first-place tournament finishes. Like Mr. Smolsky said, we won the division. We won the conference where we won 7 of 9 flights. We won our regional where we won 7 of 8 flights. We placed second in the state during the state tournament. We had 4 state semifinalists. We had 3 finalists. We ended up with 4 all-state athletes. We had 3 all-state honorable mention athletes. We ended up with 2 state champions. Amog Mabatur, who was our #4 singles player, finished his season with a 32-1 record, winning state title at 4 singles. And Mr. Sachiv Kumar, which is our #1 player this year, was 28-1 this season. In fact, in the last 2 years, I think he was 50-something and 1. This was his 3rd time winning the state title. He was named, obviously, Mr. Tennis through the Michigan High School Tennis Association. Most likely will be named All-American again. He was All-American last year. Can't see him not getting that again this year. He will also be attending the University of Wisconsin this year to play tennis, which for anyone that knows about college tennis, it's an international sport, and for him to be able to make it with all of these people throughout the world is quite an accomplishment. So I look forward to following them. With me today, I have Coach Aaron, Coach Brenda, who they're the driving force of the whole thing. They make everything work, and I'm going to say that they're the ones that keep me going. I have Brian Zhang, Kyle Brown, and Anderson Herduiza here to represent our team. Thank you again.
Fellas, scoot over, fellas.
I gotta improve my game, so I gotta stand up.
You wanna get in here? Someone else can do it. No, I can't. No one can see me anyway. Too short.
And yes, this is for bowling earlier today, which we didn't fare real well.
Congratulations again to our boys tennis team on a great season. All right, up next is our boys cross country team. Our boys cross country team were division champs, conference champs, regional champs, qualifying them for the state finals, and they ended the season as state champions, the best team in the state of Michigan. Not only won, but this is the 2nd year they've done that. So back-to-back state champions, Coach Tim Ball.
Thank you to the Board of Ed and Dr. Weber for honoring our student athletes tonight. Dr. Weber, when you're done on the golf course, Brendan Herger wants a race on the track in the 800. This year we had 83 boys on the cross-country team, our biggest in school history, and to my knowledge, the biggest boys team in the state of Michigan this fall. I would like to clear up one myth. If you saw a picture of our team this fall, they probably weren't smiling. And the number of questions I got on that was shocking to me. But the boys started it. Did they not enjoy it? Are they not happy? They started a thing early in the season, no smiling, straight face. We'll smile when we accomplish our team goal. And it just became a running joke. So I promise you they were enjoying it. Even at the state meet, though, they still said straight face. To review our season, I'll share a couple facts. We finished with a perfect 7-0 dual meet record, beating Novi, Plymouth, Canton, Salem, Brighton, Howell, and Heartland. We were KLAA West Division champs. We were KLAA Conference champs. We were MHSA Regional champions. And as Mr. Smolsky said, back-to-back MHSA A Division I state champs. There's only been 4 boys state champion titles in school history. The first one coming in 1973, boys swim. Our boys last fall were the second boys team to win a state title. Our boys golf team this past spring won to be the third team. And then our boys repeated this year. Senior Brendan Herger led the way, setting a new school record with the fastest 5K on our home course of Cass Benton on Hines Drive with a time of 15 minutes and 23 seconds, and also the fastest 5K on any course at the state finals with a time of 15:05. As a reminder, cross country is a 5K or 3.1 miles, so that averages out to about 4:52 a mile. Junior Ethan Powell finished 13th to finish All-State for the second year in a row. A fun fact about Ethan, he held our school record on our home course of Cass for about 2 weeks, I think. And Brendan had to come back and get that record. But the nice thing, Ethan does have one more year. Sophomore Ben Hardigan, who I just found out his mom's going to be mad at me. His mom was a long-time mile record holder here at the high school when she was a student. But he had a monster race at the state finals as a sophomore, finishing 24th for All-State honors. Just as impressive, our boys were recognized for their work in the classroom, earning academic All-State honors with an average GPA of 3.76. With that said, I do want to note the important role all 83 boys played. These are just the 9 that represented our state finals team. I had a conversation last week with a parent of how the 83rd runner pushes the 82nd runner, and the 82nd runner pushes the 81st runner, and so on. Each guy truly had a hand in what was a terrific season. I would also like to acknowledge the 3 assistants behind me. Could not have done it without them. I'll start with Tom Brown. Tom's been doing it a long time. He was my coach here at Northville High School. It's been a joy to coach alongside him. He is truly the most knowledgeable individual that I've been around cross country and track and field wise. He will be honored this Friday at our State Coaches Association as the MICA Assistant Track and Field Assistant Coach of the Year. My brother, who is a Northville grad as well, a physical therapist, and has been with me since day one coaching, and Coach Lauren Peck, who joined us this fall, a math teacher here in the building, and to quote one of our seniors on the team, was the best addition to our team this fall. The 9 student athletes shown up here represent our state finals team. Boys, if you'll get a little wave as I introduce you, we'll start at the far end. Senior Nick Yaquinto. Nick was our number 5 at the state meet. In the sport of cross country, you add up your top 5 finishers place in low score wins. Nick will always be remembered as being our 5th runner at the state finals in both 2022 and 2023, so he stopped our scoring, kind of sealed the deal for us. Next to him is junior Ethan Powell, who finished 13th in the state of Michigan, back-to-back All-State honors. And really, there was 12 kids in the state that beat him, and one of them was his teammate Brendan. So really only 11 kids in the state of Michigan beat Ethan at the state finals. Next to Ethan is Brendan Herger. Brendan is the ultimate teammate, and I'm sure I'll speak about him at the board meeting in the spring at the conclusion of the track season. But Brendan, I do want to give you a second here. The kid is unreal. I've had the opportunity to coach a lot of high-level and talented kids. He, by far, is team first, always. He's never about himself. He's always, what can I do for the team? When he crosses the finish line, he'll come over and say, how did we do as a team? Not celebrating his personal accomplishments. With that said, school record holder in the mile, half mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, and 5K. And just this past weekend, ran 151 in the half mile to be currently #1 in the United States of America for high school students. Next. What do you think, Dr. Weber? Think he's got a 151 in him?
Maybe 20 years ago.
I think that's a fair race. Herger, you got to run 2. Dr. Weber 1. Next to Brendan is senior Luke Schwartz. We did not, when I started coaching 6-7 years ago, we got rid of captains. We do senior leaders, and it's wonderful. You'd be surprised at how seniors step up and find their role. And Luke was phenomenal for us. He was an alternate on our state team, but certainly an important piece. Next to him is junior Nick Barretto. He was our #4 at the state finals, our 4th finisher in a time of 16:05. So we almost had 4 kids sub 16. Next to Nick Barretto is junior Ishan Kundapar. Ishan was our #7 at the state finals and valuable experience. He'll be back next fall. Next to Ishan is freshman Brandon Cloud. Truly impressive to see a freshman on a state finals team, just the physical difference you'll see in a high school boy. So he's got 3 bright years ahead of him, but was our #6 at the state finals. Next to him is another freshman. We call him the squirrel, Jack Parker Lewis. He's a phenomenal young man. And these two are good friends, and it's going to be a joy to coach those 2 for the next 3 years. Next to him, we have sophomore Ben Hardigan. Truly an amazing jump this year. He went from not competing at the state finals last year, he was our alternate, to being our #3 finisher, finishing all state and being 24th. And that is our state finals team. Congratulations, guys. Guys, scoot over, guys, scoot over.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Picture time, come on.
Almost got it.
Smiling? Not smiling. We're not smiling.
No smile.
No smile.
Smile.
Okay, smile. We're smiling.
I'm tired of that.
Smile. 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 Okay.
Again, congratulations to our boys cross-country team. And as you heard tonight, not only are these students great athletes, but they're great people. They are great in the classroom, as we heard all the academic success that they've all had also. And as I started with the word, don't take special for granted. It's a very, very special place to be, and that's because of this team here that supports athletics, this group over here that supports athletics, all the student athletes in here, all our coaches. You hear them talk, and you can just tell the positive relationships they have with kids. And all those awards don't happen if they don't understand the importance of building those bonds and relationships with our kids. And our coaches do a phenomenal job with that. So thank you to them. And again, this doesn't happen without all the parents in the community here that support what we do. It's a great place to be, and a shout out to the hockey team for being here tonight to support all the fall teams. Again, a special place to be, and it's an honor for me just to be part of it, and I won't ever take it for granted. Thank you. Have a good night.
We're going to give about a 30-second transition here. Lord, don't go anywhere. I'm going to have you go somewhere else in a minute here, okay? You're going to a special place, Lord. We're gonna go ahead and get going. I'm always on the clock. There's certain people, Steve Banchero keeps the clock on me, and then Mike Zoff keeps the clock on me. So again, we're doing pretty well right now. So, I'm gonna transition a little bit right now. Uh-oh, lost my little notes. There they are. So each year as a school, we have focus areas, and our focus areas are up on the screen right now. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those right now. Always starts with relationships. We talk about getting better every day. We need to get better every day with relationships. That's number one. Learning doesn't happen without relationships, and we need to get better every day with that. And our teachers do that. One thing that we're going to demonstrate tonight to you, to the board, and to our community is restorative circles, restorative practices, and I'll introduce Mr. Tolson here in a minute. But really, restorative practices, restorative circles are really defined by relationships. That's really what restorative practice, restorative circles is. And you're going to see a little bit of that demonstrated tonight. Also, goals this year for us are our MTSS, SL and PBIS, and Ms. Aluya does some great things with our PBIS. We kind of combine those things, all those educational jargon. Certainly our instructional strategies, our practices are there. Voice. Another thing you'll see tonight is student voice. It's been a big goal of mine to reestablish that this year. You're going to see students from our principal's cabinet. We have about 45 students on our principal cabinet that we started this year. And really, that's just a group that comes in. We haven't really decided our total purpose yet, but our first 2 or 3 meetings, it's about, we as administrators, we talk to them about things that we want to bring to them, but more importantly, they bring things to us. So with that restorative circle work tonight, you'll also see student voice tonight as we go. And then obviously diversity, equity, inclusion. I know that's a big district goal, and Crystal Muhammad is leading our group with that. And then another thing that I know Mr. Boffman is put a lot of work into is our AI work. And I know we did a nice job this year bringing in Michigan Virtual for our PD day, and really had a nice session with. I think we're ahead of most schools, but again, ahead doesn't mean get better each day with AI. So. But again, wanted to bring those focus points up. We're going to take a little transition moment right now. I'm going to pull the screen up, and we're going to, in a minute here, but I want to talk a little bit about our restorative practice journey, how it started, how we're going, and really, it's a relationships journey. Restorative practice, restorative circles, again, is about relationships. And relationships is a journey. You got to get better each day at that. And Rodney Tolson, can you just stand up for a minute? Rodney comes from, as you can see, he comes from the International Institute of Restorative Practice. He's our instructor and our instructional coach. He has trained over 90 of our staff members in our district, including probably about 75, 80 high school teachers, paraprofessionals, hall monitors, everyone in our district. Thank you, Dr. Weber, for bringing restorative practice here. Is trained in restorative practice, trained in relationships. And so Rodney's going to lead us in a circle tonight. We're going to talk about some things. I'm going to be a narrator outside the circle tonight, but I want to talk about a couple things that you'll see. With circles, we're really starting at Northville High School with proactive circles. A lot of people think restorative circles, restorative practice, restorative justice. We're trying to build relationships through proactive circles first, whether it's in our seminars, in our class seminars, whether it's in our instructional classes. For example, people have heard of Socratic seminars. Really, what is a Socratic seminar? It really is a restorative practice circle. It's building relationships while learning. So, and you'll see some of that tonight. So we're in that 80%. You want 80% of your circles to be proactive. You'll see that demonstrated tonight. And then we're also going to continue to get better with more training. Like I said, our COLT team has brought that to us. Dr. Weber, Ms. Peck has brought that to us. Mr. Boffman has, and we're excited to continue that restorative practice, that relationship journey on. So we're going to do right now, and just a couple other notes here. Teachers are using it. Are we using it enough? No. We still a lot of times they're teaching in rows and columns, and maybe we need to be in circles more. And that's something, change doesn't happen overnight. Relationships don't happen overnight. It takes time. But we are seeing it in our seminars a lot. We had a very difficult week a couple weeks ago and last week, and I saw a lot of circles happening, thank goodness. We're doing it in our classrooms with different instructional strategies. I think that's a big piece. Personally, I know every one of we have a counselor meeting every Friday. Those have turned into circles, and I think we've been more productive with those. Every one of our school improvement team meetings are in a circle, and I even brought it to our coffee chats and explained that, and I think those are even better. And I think with that circle, even our coffee chat, we talk about student voice. We also need parent voice and also parent voice and teacher voice. But I also think just getting in a circle in our coffee chat has given parents more voice in what we do. So you're going to see that right now. I'm going to spend about 20 or 25 minutes with you. I'm going to pull the screen up, get lighting set, so give me 30 seconds. I got to go do my thing on that, tug that screen up. I'm going to invite the board members up to the stage too. You're going to sit outside the circle with the ability to jump in the circle anytime you want to ask questions. And so surprise, surprise. But we're going to do that. You don't have to jump in the circle, but you have an opportunity to do that. Mr. Tolson, thank you for being here all the way from Baltimore. He comes from Baltimore where it was had snow days and so forth to get more snow days. So anyway, and he was at the Ravens game last week too. So anyway, so give us 30 seconds. I also want to give a special shout out to our student cabinet members who are here tonight. There's about 10 or 12, our principal cabinet members, and also we have 3 or 4 of our student congress, and they'll introduce themselves as we go. So let's get up to the stage, guys, and I'm going to pull the stage of the circle up there for you. Board members, you'll be on those 4 chairs on each side. Dr. Weber, there's a chair up there for you if you'd like to. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Tolson right now, and he's going to demonstrate what's happening in our seminars and our classrooms, and I'm going to narrate from the side every once in a while. We do need to get 1, 2 more chairs in here for board members, so let me do that. So board members, you're kind of part of here, I'm going to just stick a chair, 2 chairs in here in the circle. So we kind of have a technique that's a kind of a half fishbowl. So the board members are outside the circle, but they can also join in. So it's a technique that's used in our classrooms and our seminars where there might be visitors or whatever outside the circle, but they can jump in and ask questions of the students. So I'm going to let Rodney go, and like I said, I'm going to narrate a couple things, but I'm going to let the master take over. Rodney, can you put that? Yep.
Hello? Is this working? Okay. some faces I've seen before, so I'm glad to see you again. And we had a little talk about a burger place that was recommended, and it was great. And you and I will follow up on that, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is what's called the check-in circle. And a check-in circle is the equivalent of, hi, how you doing? And it's a way to gauge the temperature in a space. And so here we are, students. We're going to act like no one else is here. There are no people beside us out in the audience looking at us. So we'll do a check-in. Tell me your name, your grade, and as to a level of nervousness. 0 being Joe Cool, and 5 like I'm a little anxious. Give me that level. So your name, your grade, and where are you on a level of nervousness from 0 to 5. I'll go first. I'm going to go to my left. So that way everyone knows to get their answers ready. We're going this way. My name is Rodney Tolson. I am a IRP coach, instructor, and trainer. And on the nervousness level, I'm about a 0. The Ravens won.
I'm Jong Cho Lee, and I'm a freshman, and my nervous level is 5 because I am first.
Hi, my name is Janet Tien. I'm a senior. My nervous level driving in was a 4. Now it's a 0.
I'm Lillian Gordon. I'm a freshman, and I'm probably at like a 1.
I'm Leah Strode. I'm an 11th grader, and I'm probably at a 3.
My name is Ashley Reberg. I'm a junior, and right now my nervous level is probably at a 3, but it's going to become a 0 or a 1 once we start getting into things.
Hello, I'm Christopher Cowden. I'm a junior. I'm a 0-2 over here today. 0.
Hi, I'm Isabella Mock. I'm in 11th grade, and my nervous level is like a 1.
Hello, my name is Ritvik Alandula. I'm also a junior, and I would say 1 or 2.
Hi, my name is Arjun Sani. I'm also a junior, and my nervousness is a 0.
I'm Brandon Troop, and I am a senior, and my nervous level is a 3.
Hi, I'm Julian Ajloni. I'm a senior, and my nervous level is probably a 2.
Hi, I'm Jillian Fletcher. I'm a senior, and my nervous level is probably like a 1 or a 2.
I'm Giselle Khalife. I'm a senior, and I would say my nervous level is a 0 right now.
I'm David Rodin. I'm a junior, and I'm probably at like a 1.
Hi, I'm Caroline Maloche. I'm a senior, and my nervous level is probably a 3.
All right, thank you. So
I'm going to narrate a little bit here. So just for those, just that instructional technique, that's a sequential circle, Rodney, and you add into that. We ran around the whole circle one way and got everybody to speak once. So that's a sequential circle, and I also did a check-in with that.
Absolutely. And some of the things I've heard, the person right next to me was a 5 because I did go first, but everyone else was between like a 3 and a 1 and some 0. So we're pretty grounded. So let's do something else. Let's talk about today. So you had a day off. So here's our circle prompt. What is something that you did with your day off today? Think about that for a second. What is something that you did with your day off? I'll go first again. This time I'm going to go to the right. So give me a break. We're going to go the other way. Go the other way. You're welcome. One thing I did on my day off was actually go to the health club and get on the treadmill and work out.
One thing I did today was I went to Starbucks and studied for some of my finals.
Today I just got to sleep in a little extra longer.
I went and I got coffee with a friend this morning.
I studied a lot and did some homework that I needed to get done, and I relieved a lot of my stress.
Yeah, today I went to the library and did some studying before tomorrow's test.
One of the things I did today was start a new Minecraft world.
One of the things I did today was get more sleep and study.
I learned, or I guess I made, a baked potato.
I studied for some of my finals and the SAT.
Like everybody else, I studied a little bit. I cooked a little bit. I got distracted with YouTube videos.
I completed a whole unit of my online course. Like I just sat there and I went through everything, and it was like a solid grind, but it was worth it.
Today I was able to help my little brother with his homework.
I studied for finals and then I had practice.
I also studied for finals, and then I wrote a letter to a teacher who I won't have next semester.
First, I woke very early because I don't know there was no school today, and I decided to study final because it's my first final in high school.
Awesome. So, as we see, we were productive on our day off. We did some studying. We went to Starbucks. We did some cooking. And for everyone around, that's a circle for connections. You know, that we want to connect. We want the group to begin to connect with each other. Now we're going to transition. And some of you have had this question before, so it'll be like a repeat. I want to talk about the school. Talk about this great building that we're in. What is your favorite thing about the school? Think for a second. What is your favorite thing about the school? And again, but let's do something different because some of you have seen me before. Would someone like to start? And then you would get to say whether you're going to the right or to the left. But what is your favorite thing about the school? Awesome. You raise your hand first.
So one of my favorite things about the school is the community. I really love how diverse our student body is, and we have a lot of students here. So there's a lot of opportunities to form new connections, expand your network, make new friends, and that's really what I love about the school.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking off what Arjun said, I really, really like the people. I feel like not only like our staff, but like a lot of students who are really welcoming, they're open, and I feel like just that I guess a vibrant sense of community that Northville has is kind of established from like that staff perspective and teachers. Because if teachers were being like really, really strict, it would kind of reflect on the student body. But since a lot of teachers are really open, they're kind, they're lenient, that reflects on the student body instead of like malintentions.
I agree with Britvic. We have really great teachers here, and I feel like all of my teachers I can go talk to about whatever I need. They're really great. They teach us a lot of stuff, and I would just say overall, I feel like they all have great connections with the students. I know a lot of people love their teachers, and no matter the subject or what level of difficulty the class is, all of the teachers are just truly fantastic.
Yeah, I really appreciate the freedom and care. I think here, if you want to do something, you can probably do it. And with that, a lot of the administration and teachers and everyone really will help you go toward those things, right? From like dual enrollment to just having a bad day and wanting to talk. Teachers and staff really help you with everything. So I appreciate the staff.
For me, it would be the buses. I mean, a $400,000 vehicle escorts you to school every day, which is kind of cool. You can like take that out of context. And additionally, I don't have to pay for a car or insurance or repairs, so I can save up my money for college, which I really need to do. And waking up early is a little bit difficult, but you're always on time everywhere, so I really like that.
I like how wide of a range of programs they offer here at the school. Like I looked at this paper of all the classes, and it's just this tiny font of every single class list out. And like we have over 100 clubs. So even if there's some club that you hope they had at the school and they don't, you could actually start your own. So that freedom also helps.
Kind of like what you said, I like how there's a wide variety of electives. Like if you wanted to go into like a medical field, there's medical electives, and just kind of there's a bunch of different electives that you can take.
Adding on to what Arjun and Ritwik said, I also really like the community at our school. It's like you meet such a diverse range of people every day, and at some point you find someone they connect with, whether it be staff or a student. And it's really lovely to walk around the school and see all these different vibrant communities of students.
I love there's lots kind of club in this school because there's many kind of clubs, so I can find what I want to do in future, and I learn lots of things from there.
My favorite thing about the school is the openness and welcoming of the students and staff and the great relationship that I had with Principal Koski.
I would say my favorite part of the school is just also the amount of opportunities you have. Like some people say clubs, classes, but also a lot of sports opportunities too. We have so many different sports teams here that some of my friends at other districts, other smaller schools don't have an opportunity to do just because of the size of their districts and everything. So we have a lot of and a very supportive board too for that as well.
Something I really do like is block scheduling. That seminar block is very nice every other day to sleep in, and also just having such long classes allow me to learn more, but also have time to do the homework. And it's just a better environment instead of feeling rushed with 45 minutes.
I would say my favorite part about the school is our like administration, especially Mr. Koski, because I am on student congress, and it's something that I've truly found has like helped me find out who I am as a person. And one thing that I love to do with student congress is like see the community come together. And anytime we have any new ideas or like something that we want to do to get everyone involved and everyone together, Mr. Koski and like all of like our staff has always been open to that. And he always like prides himself on saying that like if we want to do something, he will find a way to make it happen. And I think that not a lot of schools have administration who is like so willing to like and be open to like such new like ideas and like things that we want to plan out and do for our community to come together. And so I really appreciate our administration and their openness to new ideas.
Okay, my favorite thing about Northville has got to be like our school spirit. I don't know, I mean, this is the only high school I've ever been to, but everybody cares so much about the school, and like especially like during homecoming week, you can really show it off just because we have like spirit days, a great community, and it's so cool to see everybody care about something so much.
Yeah, so I would say I most appreciate the staff, but more specifically, probably my counselor and all the other counselors. And I just think, they've done a really good job, whether that be like figuring out my schedule or trying to help me apply to college. They've just been really helpful with any process, really. And that's what I probably like most about Northville.
My favorite thing about Northville is the community and the smaller communities that you can be a part of. There are so many different sports teams that you can be a part of and find a community in, and different clubs, and even just a table group in one of your classes. There are so many small communities that you can make.
All right, thank you. Let's review some of the things that we heard. We love the community. We love the diversity of our community. We love the small groups. We love the bus so we can get here. We love the fact that we get a day to sleep in, and that we can go to this administration, and that if something isn't happening, they'll help make it happen. We have teachers that are open, and we have generally a welcoming community. And for everyone outside, this is called student voice. And that question was designed for the students to tell us specifically what they love about the building. And when you hear me repeating the things I've heard, that's called debriefing the circle. So you're just repeating, like, these are some things that I heard. And the reason that I had someone else go first, that's how you get more involvement, and where you eventually get to other people leading the circle besides yourself. And so when we're talking about student voice, we're going to move to something called a non-sequential circle. So in a non-sequential circle, we'll just gently pass the microphone to people who want to comment. But here's the question. We're talking about student voice, and someone can volunteer to go first, and we can just go around, or you can just raise your hand for the talking piece. What makes student voice so important? Just think about that for a second. What makes student voice so important? And we will process that for a second. And when someone would like to begin, just raise your hand and I'll walk over to you.
Honestly, I feel like at the end of the day, the students are the one that are embracing and being this atmosphere of everything. And all of the administrators and teachers already have this experience, and they already know and understand everything that happened. And at the end of the day, we are the ones that are embracing it. So allowing to see our opinions and our ideas are most definitely different and could correspond, but having a different variety of what is actually happening within the school is so important.
So, like, piggybacking off of what David just said, like, another thing too is, since our school is so diverse, like, I think it's important that, we get voice and opinions from like a variety of students, right? Like, I met this guy, this student this year who just came from Australia. So from Australia to like Northville, Michigan. So pretty big difference there, right? But it's important that like we're able to get his opinion, his experiences, right? And we can make a change or make an improvement or something that can help like other future immigrants or new people come into Northville and feel welcomed, feel like there's, and help them just have exposure to the amount of opportunities that we provide here. So.
Really, just the purpose of school is to help us build our futures or help us go into our futures. And so, if you take away like student voice, and really it's the students you're helping here, it kind of defeats the purpose of school, because if they have no suggestions on how to make the school better, you can't like give them a step up in their future, and you can't really give them that advantage.
Kind of like that. I mean, students are kind of obviously the ones that are in the school. I think the staff and like the board is kind of the behind the scenes work. So student voice kind of lets them know, like, this is what's going on. This is something that's good. This is something that's bad. And I think that that's really important to kind of learn and grow.
I think it's similar to the analogy of like a parent trying to help a child with homework. The child's just going to constantly go around and round in their head their method of solving the problem. And unless they tell the parent what they're thinking, the parent's never going to understand. I kind of think it's similar to that with us and our advisors, that we have our own thoughts about school and about our futures, but they're never going to really be put into play unless we put in the devotion and unless our counselors and advisors help us with that.
I really love that analogy. And sort of adding on, it's that line of open communication, because so much has changed since the people in power have been in school. And what they perceive us to be experiencing or how our lives are usually pretty different from what you usually can be. And when that line of communication is cut, then the people who have the power to provide us with these resources and opportunities don't know what we want and what we need. And having student voice kind of bridges that gap.
I guess it's kind of like a combination of everything that's been said, but I think student voice is so important because like we, at the end of the day, like we are like the students of the school, and no matter like what ideas or like what the administration is bringing in or what the board is bringing in, it applies to us. And I think that like if they want to try a new idea or something new, like these like regeneratives or whatever, sorry, like the circles, it's like something that the students are going to have to do. I think like something like this where you find out like what the kids think about it and how it's like helping that and finding like the real like meaning and the impact on kids is what's so important. And so like hearing student voice and student opinion is the only way you're going to be able to do that, because even if you can like kind of see like, oh, we think this is going to impact the kids in this way, without hearing actual student voice, you don't have any other way to see like how your ideas are impacting the students.
Sorry, I don't mean to take up too much time, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, we're all human, right? And these circles, we'll repeat a lot of things. We'll say and like a ton, but just being able to talk and being able to be like an individual sometimes is nice. And so I think that's a pretty big thing that these circles kind of build up and are pretty relevant too. But I won't take up too much time.
All right, thank you so much. So we got a lot of good feedback from student voice. You know, hey, we're the ones in it. You know, how do you know if it's helping us without asking us? Sometimes we just want to be individuals and we just want to talk about things and all the other things. We said thank you. So now we talked about the 80-20. So 80% of circles are proactive in relationship building. But what that does, that creates safety for the 20%. And the 20% should be responsive, or when we have to have maybe courageous conversations. And so we're going to do our next prompt. It'll be sequential, and it's kind of like Dr. Weber, like the 75. Okay, we're going in there. So now, everybody in a circle, close your eyes for a second. So close your eyes. So now, here's the prompt. Imagine Dr. Weber came to you and said, you're either a principal or a board member. And Dr. Weber is asking for your feedback. And his question is this: what is one suggestion that you would have for the board to improve the school? one suggestion. Everybody open your eyes. So now, upon opening your eyes, you are now an honorary principal and board member of Northville High School. And so, who would like to go first? Oh, wow, I see a hand raised right away. Okay, awesome.
Okay, so I guess I'm usurping Dr. Weber here, but if I were like a member of the educational board, I think something that's really important that gets overshadowed a lot is an emphasis on learning how to learn, because I feel like this isn't something that's really covered. It's something that people have to kind of learn on their own. Like, for example, this year I'm taking AP Psychology, and I'm learning all about how we as humans learn better, learn more effectively. And there's even like some crazy things like being in a room with a bigger roof helps you be more creative. That's like something that's like, I don't know if it's for sure true, but it's something I've heard. And different things like that, just learning how to optimize our learning more effectively, I think that could be very helpful, because a lot of stress that's put on students is because of like schoolwork, tests, stuff like that, and that has a ripple effect of leading to like worse quality of health, because there's worse quality of sleep, more stress, and all of that stuff. And that all comes down to our ability to process information. And if we can learn better, it can like take a lot of stress off of our backs, meaning that we're going to have better health overall, we'll be more happy, and just stuff like that. So I feel like maybe at a younger age, maybe like in eighth grade or ninth grade, making a whole, maybe not even a class, but just like something dedicated to learning how to learn and helping students learn better would be a very good investment in like the students' growth over high school in that period of time.
I don't know if this is my just experience, but I also feel like we don't have the opportunity to. This is going to sound weird, but don't have the opportunity to learn in a way, because I feel like every opportunity I'm given, whether it's a homework assignment, is graded on accuracy. And it's something that always has stuck out to me, because I feel like we never have the opportunity to fully make the mistake and learn from them, because we're always getting graded on those like actions. And it just like roadblocks like any opportunity to actually understand the material rather than just getting 100 so it boosts your grade.
One thing that I would probably change is the freshman orientation. I'm a freshman, so last year I was at Hillside, and like it was definitely a difficult like transition. But I have an older brother, so like it was a little bit nicer having a familiar face out of everyone. But I think that there should be more of like, okay, high school classes do this, middle school classes can do that, because like in middle school, like it was a lot different with homework assignments and tests and finals and everything. So freshman orientation and freshman like transition would be a big thing.
One thing I would suggest is maybe more, more not programs, but more like help towards managing stress, not like, because I feel like, oh, you're stressed, you're sad. I feel that empathy, but I don't like have help. But at the same time, I don't want to be babied. It's like, oh, it's okay to be stressed. I want to learn how to manage that stress.
I wish we were prepared for college a bit more, and I do think they've started doing that with some seminar modules. But as an 11th grader, I feel like some things have just come totally out of the blue. I've never heard of it before. And I wish maybe in 9th or 10th grade we could start looking at what colleges we want and what we need to get into there. Like what or how many AP classes, what type of classes should we be taking? What do you need on the SAT? What extracurriculars? Like stuff to really prepare us beforehand so that when it comes up we're not frantically trying to get everything in before it's too late.
I probably should have asked Mr. Koski about this one earlier. I had it in the back of my mind for a while. But a couple of friends of mine and students in different classes have mentioned, like, for theater programs and stuff and sports, they would like to see if you could have like a class to kind of integrate those into your schedule, because it might make life more like manageable and easier, right? To not have all these things. And I'm not sure the feasibility of it, but just something to think about, integrating like certain extracurriculars with school more so. And it's happened before, right? With like choir and with like lifting and stuff. So I know we have some classes of that sort.
So one thing that I've kind of noticed is I'm wanting to go into finance, right? Business. And one of the big things that I'm noticing a lot is like the school provides a lot of extracurricular opportunities to explore your careers, right? And especially I've like started a club at my school here that tries to give students an opportunity to explore these things. But one thing that I do feel we need to do is in the actual classes themselves, I don't know, maybe just one day of class or whatever, we have some sort of professional come in from that field and actually give perspective, direct perspective towards what that field actually offers. Because I feel like it's one thing to learn about, the topics or whatever, right? I'm in marketing apps. We're learning about all these different principles of marketing and whatnot. But I feel like it's another thing to, go to like Ford Field and then get to see all the sports marketing opportunities, right? So things like that, I feel like we need to integrate more in just a wider variety of classes, right? That's what I think.
I like to build off what Isabella said. I mean, yeah, because especially in being 11th grade, I'm going to be applying for colleges soon. And I was always aware of the fact that I had to prepare in advance for since ninth grade for when college did come around. But I didn't necessarily know to what extent. So now that I'm a junior, I'm kind of like rethinking some of my past decisions on the number of APs, the types of APs, especially on like awareness of certain competitions. I know that a lot of colleges like to see those, especially because this is a pretty well off school. A lot of kids are going to be applying to well off colleges. And because of that, admission is going to be more advanced, it's going to be more competitive. And so I feel that if we were to make students more aware of certain competitions, like outside of clubs, that would help a lot because I often see those on applications of those who did get accepted into the colleges I want to go to. I know comparison isn't the best, but I'm just to get ideas. And I think I never even knew that competition existed. And then I try fitting it in almost last second or trying to make it work around my current schedule. And it doesn't always work the best.
Awesome. So lots of great suggestions if we were board members, from pre-planning to helping us get better prepared for what's coming, for, hey, the transition is really different from high school to middle school. So we need to be prepared to, maybe we need more practical experiences. So awesome feedback. And so that's would be part of the 20%, where now we did our community building, but we created a space where everyone felt comfortable sharing. And so everybody, do me a favor. If you're this way, turn this way. If you're that way, turn around and thank the board members for listening. Awesome. And yes.
Yeah, board members, if this might be a time, I know Mr. Tolson has one more thing to do with the group, but is a time to jump in if you have any questions or anything. Please jump into one of those, get out of the fishbowl, or get into the fishbowl, I should say.
And so I know we're running out of time, so here's our closing question, our closing circle prompt. So let's say we were doing a commercial about Northville. And so since Dr. Weber's here, he's going to be in our commercial. And so in this commercial, I'm going to take my phone, and what we're going to do is we're going to go and you're going to look up and what is one word that you would say about the school. So we were doing the commercial. You know how the commercials, they just flash faces and everybody's saying that one word. What would be your one big word? And so you're just going to act like this is coming, and you're just going to look up and give your one big word. It's not on, so you don't have to worry. It's not good. So your one big word. I'll go first. And should we give Dr. Weber, but should we let him go last? We'll go to the left. We'll go to we won't put Dr. Weber on the spot right away. So I'll go first. And what is my one word about Northville? Community.
Yeah, before we go, I'd just like to thank each of you for jumping in here and really. There's formative data, summative data, yada yada. But to me, when we listen to each other, and I really believe listening is an act of love, right? When you listen, and I want to assure you that I heard what you said in student agency and student voice. In my mind, the public education industry has really rarely listened to the people they serve on the daily, which are the students. And when you can do that and hear it non-defensively and just in an open way, you find out that just from tonight, there are other things that we can do to help make your experience better. And your first name? Yours. Ashlyn? Ashley. So sorry, too many years of rock music, my ears are shot. But Ashley, you made, I think, our chief financial officer and operations person really happy to talk about the buses and the way you did, because I need you to do an ad, which will then cut down on the lines of kids being dropped off at school because they're always on time. They're going to get you there safe. You're ready to go. May as well use it, right? Brilliant. So Tony, could you join us in the circle, Mr. Koski? I hope you heard what so many of these students said about you and the team that sits over your left shoulder. This building genuinely is kid first centered, the breadth of opportunities you provide, and these students in this circle, and I'm going to guess the students throughout, know that you and your team genuinely care about them. And care can maybe take some sternness sometimes, care can take some love, care can take all those things, but I hope you heard what I heard, and I'm really grateful that you, and I'm going to get you back for Brian Smolsky of the state Principal of the Year. Thanks.
So I just want to again say, looking at a circle, and again, not normal to get answers like this, to share like this. So I just want to thank our principal cabinet group, who we're just figuring things out together, and also our student Congress leadership here, our senior student Congress leadership. Thank you for being here tonight. So let's give them a round of applause. And I also want to give Mr. Tolson, who I've become very fond of and learned a lot from. Let's give Mr. Tolson a round of applause. So guys, for being here tonight, we're going to only have a half day of school tomorrow, okay? So, all right. So, you got enough snow days. Gee, we got to come to school. Thank you guys again. We got you out of here on time, give you a little bit more studying time, but again, truly appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you. We'll transition backboard and put the screen down. But again, thank you, students. All right.
To see a ton of stuff. I'll hand it over to folks for comment, questions. Go for it.
I'll jump in. I want to thank the students that came tonight, Mr. Koski. If you get a chance and can give them our board's thanks, I'm sure they understand. But one of the students, I just patted her on the shoulder and said that something she said would stick with me. She said up here, the students' voice is important because school today is different, so different from when we were in school. And that was a mouthful, and it really made me, it really resonated with me. I think I'm the only one who was here for the beginning of COVID, and I definitely felt like even we adults didn't know what was going on in the buildings because we couldn't go in them, and because school was being built, I think, as Suzanne Lynn said, like an airplane in mid-flight, we were rebuilding it. But I also think that this challenges these guys face and the things that are very extremely salient and maybe even controlling their well-being are things that did not exist when I was in high school. And I don't know. I just wanted to lift up that comment and reflect on it some more. I think if we all reflect on it, it's really powerful. I expected them to say things like, voice is important because, it's us, but just putting it in that way that like we don't even really understand what high school is. We didn't live through the high school they're living through, I guess, is the point. And even as a parent of high schoolers, we still aren't living through it. I really also want to comment on, I heard a number of things and I wrote them all down. It sounds like freshman orientation. There could be a session or sessions on maybe the different expectations, how people made that transition, maybe a how to manage stress. I heard a student say, I get the empathy, but I need some additional tools. I loved the suggestion. I saw Mr. Koski a little bit nodding, of the student who said, could we have guests just one day in a class who are from industry and could speak to what particularly that looks like for them. I thought that was really, really great thinking. Interesting that one of the students, the second one to speak, basically talked about practice versus homework and grading principles that we addressed last week in the committee of the whole. Fascinating. The two juniors that spoke about the stress of not knowing how many APs would be expected if they want to get into UM or compete against the other student. They didn't say UM, but I filled that in my brain. Wherever they want to go. That was really poignant because I'm sure they are really stressed about that. And also, I think there's some effort to not push kids into that panic of comparing and losing out to the Joneses and the ever escalating arms race that is. And yet at the same time, the kids are applying to schools and they want to know more about that. So all of those I thought were really telling and interesting. I really want to thank you for exposing us to that group and that kind of a method of getting that information. Really good overall. I wrote down a bunch of notes about some of the sports in the national merit, and so just congratulations. But what can we do to act on some of these things? That was brave of them to come forward with it.
So I'd like to add a couple of things, and some, I understand some of them actually concern me, right? One of the person talked about, learning from mistakes. And honestly, that's one of the greatest things that happen in the world. Actually, when things are easy, when things flow, you don't really learn. You learn when something doesn't go right, because that's when you really do that introspective and say, oh, I didn't like how that came out. I did lousy on a test. It was a big mistake. I got punished. Whatever the thing is, your greatest learning events occur when you make mistakes. And I know as parents and as board members, we're trying to, and I'm going to bring my engineering back in, we're trying to keep people kind of on the path. When I say along the path, it's about not making major mistakes. But I think there's a healthy value in actually making some mistakes, because that's what you really learn the most. And I don't know how you create an environment where we want to prevent our students from making catastrophic mistakes, but allow them the freedom to make some, because honestly in life, that's your biggest growth occurs when things don't go the way you wanted, and then now you can really have that retrospective. So that's a one take, and I don't know how to deal with it. The second thing that really bothered me was, and I think you called it right, Sarah, the continuing escalating arm race that goes on with kids. I got to do better. I got to do better. I got to do better, because if I don't get into that school, I'm not going to succeed in life. And I know that's what they visualize at 14, 15, 16, and 17. But at the far end of life, I'm like, that's farthest from the truth. I don't know how to counteract that. They talked about, I want more understanding of, college prep and how do I have to differentiate myself and whatever. And it's like, God, I wish I could get them from putting so much pressure on themselves so earlier. I mean, I'm getting pressure on at 11th grade, and they're talking about, well, how can I move that pressure up to 9th grade? And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. But we've had an escalating arms race in this school for at least 10 years, maybe longer. And we've talked about it, and I just don't know how to dissuade that mindset. I brought up statistics in the past, talked about there is zero correlation with success. And you can define success any way you want in life. Success can be money. Success can be position of power. Success can be just being in the field you want to be in, whatever it is. But there's zero correlation between that and going to the top schools in the world. There are just as many people succeeded going to, and I'm going to use names and I don't mean to be them, but smaller institutions, Albion, Elma, pick whatever you school out there. There are just as many CEOs. There are just as many world-class athletes. There are just as many inventors that came out of the smaller places and the big. And so we've got this competitive environment, and I love competitive environments, but it scares me. And I've watched it through my 12 years just get worse and worse and worse every single year. And I just heard these kids saying, God, how can we bring that up even earlier so I can create more stress? Scares the living heck out of me. I love, though, the communication. I love listening to the kids. I love hearing where they're at. And I do love that one idea of, bringing professionals in and explaining, here's how the real world works. And high school is about the process of learning to learn. Hell, college is a process about learning to learn. Very few kids come out of college and actually know how to actually do something. I know I'm an engineer. I was scared to death when I graduated. I was scared when I joined Ford. They were going to say, okay, guess what? You got to go design something. I'm like, holy mackerel, don't let me do that. I'll kill somebody. But the real answer is what you learn in high school, what you learn in college is the ability to learn, the ability to conceptualize things and things like that. And businesses will tell you how to apply those things in the real world. And how can we do a better job of communicating that to our students and get them off this increasing escalation of, I got to one-up each other. I got to take, God, it scared me when the one girl said more AP classes or that, and then said, oh, by the way, there's other competitions I didn't know about that I also want to do. I'm like, oh my God. And I realized they're in a different environment. Yeah. They view the world from, I got to be at number X to get into the college of my choice, but it's not healthy. And I don't know at the end of the day that really is going to drive success. So my thoughts. But great, absolutely great to hear them talk about, but how can we steer them better? How can we get them off that stress ladder somehow?
Yeah. So as a university professor who actually has done recruiting in high schools, this is not uncommon. And as a matter of fact, you're absolutely right, Jim. Undergraduate experience is really just learning how to be a better learner. It's an extension on what's begun at the high school level. I know that you have universities, Mr. Koski, coming in and doing recruitment nights, and I would imagine that you have representatives trying to translate to curious students just what kinds of opportunities are available, but also how to best prepare themselves. Learning how to learn is a theme And I think it also kind of picks up also all of the angst over transitions. And of course, there's the transition from middle school to high school that we heard from the ninth grader, but high school is just a series of transitions. Every year is a new transition to another level, to another horizon, and culminating in what you want to do after the you graduate from high school. Mr. Koski, I know you work really hard at helping students see that Harvard is not the only endpoint for students leaving this university or this high school, and that there's just a myriad of opportunity out there, and you get them out there in applied learning experiences and through their volunteerism, but also through their clubs. I think that having the suggestion to have actual practitioners visit classrooms is a great one. There might be even an opportunity. I know you've got students out in the community doing things, for credit as part of their day. So that's another opportunity too. I'm actually looking forward to the ABCD award that I have an opportunity to give tonight, because it hits on many of these themes of getting students out in an applied setting, participating with scholars and researchers in their practice and exposing them to the opportunity in a university. So I'm going to connect those dots when the time comes for the ABCD award. But I think that the expectation for personal perfection, seeking perfection, or having in your mind some idealized standard that you've got to hit in order to have been a successful student is part of what worries, what I heard behind some of the stress, perhaps, or the challenges that students were feeling. So we have to just keep working at it, arm in arm with you, Mr. Koski. I know that that's the kind of high school you run, is to try to de-escalate that and to honor students, all students, for where they are and lifting them forward in their unique pathways. And that's a philosophy that I certainly support full-heartedly.
I really enjoyed hearing Mr. Dalton tonight talk about how the 86th runner encourages the 85th runner, and that there really is room for every student, right? That we hear so much about, the kids that want to get into the top tier schools. And I would imagine there are other kids that are really exploring and trying to figure out where they fit in and what their college path is. And I think helping amplify those voices. I think hearing in that circle what is top of mind. Some of it might be school, some of it might be, that's the culture that we're in right now. But I think continuing these circles allows space for the 85th kid to talk about what are they thinking about for next year. That I noticed the first couple circles, it was really cool to see, like, a couple kids had different answers, but there were some themes, right? They kind of had a common thread. And once we got to the last circle, kids were willing to take risks and be different than their peers. And I think that's what we're looking to build too, is build that capacity of what looks different for different kids. We have so many different teams and so many different opportunities for kids, and hearing what they want and creating those pathways for them, or those connections, those spaces, I think is what it's all about. I think the other piece of it is when they take those risks to tell us what's on their mind, we hear them and we can catch them. And so we hear, oh, okay, you're worried about what are some of these different things. Well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And also building that trust in the adults to care for them, and being that link to home also, that, when kids are worrying about college, are they sharing that with parents? Usually I think they are. But also they don't want to disappoint us. We know that. We're here to celebrate them and here to applaud their accomplishments. And also we know they have worries. So I really appreciated tonight's presentation. I think we look for a lot of data, right? We want to see the hard numbers, but we also need to hear from their voices, not just, their test taking skills and where they're excelling, but what are some of the things that maybe keep them up at night, or they wake up wondering about on the bus ride, and just those different times that they think about, what will help them be successful today, tomorrow, and next year as well. So I really appreciate everything that Northville High School is doing to cultivate openness around things that maybe aren't special and unique to kids, but that are difficult for them to share at times. So I appreciate that so much.
For me this evening, can listening be restorative? Because for me this evening, I would say was really restorative. Selfishly, I went back to work full time, and I'm not able this year to join our PTA or the coffee chats that Mr. Koski does. And I've always really enjoyed them because Mr. Koski, you do such a good job grounding the school. You always are able to praise the school and brag about the school and show how much that you love it here, at the same time grounding the students. The things that you send out the Mustang Trail before finals that really emphasizes that it doesn't end or begin at finals and how you do on them. So being here, it just reminds me of the why of being on the board and everything we do. And I enjoy all the schools that we get to go to for different reasons. But this is the culmination of their education, where they come and we send them out into the world. And knowing that they can come here and all the opportunities that they have to grow, I really meant a lot to me. When we were listening about, the student academic achievements, the personal projects that they did, the sports, as a parent, I'm thinking about all the nights that you're driving, or all the mornings, or all these parents and students that were and weren't here, and all the sacrifices that they made, and how wonderful it is that they have the support at home. And these coaches, I love the coaches that were students here. I mean, how much does that demonstrate how wonderful this community is, that they choose to come back here and teach and give their free time away from their own families. And just like us on the board, they do it for the money. We all know that. So I just kept, thinking about all that goes into it and what those students get out of it, those life lessons that they get out of it, that they're going to carry forward. And hey, if we're lucky, they'll bring them back here, right? As teachers themselves. And then to end it with the circle was perfect. It really was, because it was a great opportunity. And I'm going to say something that maybe is a little different than my fellow board members, and I hope I can express it correctly. I don't feel alarmed when I hear them, or maybe I don't feel it now. To me tonight, it was just important to listen and maybe feel a little uncomfortable in their truth. I don't want to take the time, and it's hard as a parent, even in any kind of situation like that, to not automatically think, let's make it, what can we do to make it better? And ultimately, as a board, that is our goal. We want to support our students. But I want to take the time to just hear them and soak in their experience, and not automatically try to fix it and gloss over it, and not let that be what they are experiencing, because I don't want to diminish that. I want to let them feel heard completely, and that's really important to me. And I just cannot thank you enough for everyone on the team for this presentation tonight. It really meant a lot, and is really motivating going forward. So thank you.
Sure, I'll be quick, I promise. So I'm always astonished by our high schoolers and how articulate they all are, because I think back to when I was in high school, and there's no way I would have been a part of any of this, because my nervous level is usually at a 5. So I feel the kid up there that was like, yeah, I just had to go first. I'm a 5. I feel that. I love seeing the list of all the projects. And I wish that we could have heard so much more about all of them. Amazing. Great job.
Lindsay, if you want to finish, I just want to echo what Karen said, because And especially because maybe I set a tone with, like, when I was talking about the APs and the stress that the kids feel and the feeling that they wish they knew more at a different time. I really loved how you put it about listen to their truth, like just reflect on it and let it sink in, because we can think that they should or shouldn't feel away, or better or worse to feel away. But I do think what we heard there was really authentic from what I experienced in the student body. And I think the kids are so smart that if we don't meet them where they are and acknowledge their truth and what they're saying to us, and if we try to get around it or dangle out other alternatives to the way they're thinking, I'm not sure that they will feel like this was a process where they were heard. So I really liked how you put that.
I want to say to you, I think you phrased it as courageous, right? These are courageous conversations that when you open up a space and someone shares something that is courageous and brave, someone else, that resonates with someone else too, and that person doesn't feel as alone as they might have felt earlier. So I want to lift that up too, that I really appreciate the bravery and the courageousness to create that space that uncomfortable feelings are just there. And I think that's a huge piece of that process. So I'm thrilled that it is happening and that we got to experience it tonight, that we've been hearing about this on the board for, a few months, and to live that was like, yes.
That's the 20%, right? And that's okay.
And you just gave permission for the 20%.
So thank you,
Can I make
Karen.
one more comment? And I want to make sure we communicate something to Brian, because I think he's gone already. But, I love the, celebrating the academic successes. But it's actually not so much about celebrating the fact they won or anything else. I don't think people appreciate how sports and academics interrelate. The process of playing sports and learning to work with a team, knowing that you got to be on time, knowing that you put in the effort, knowing that you have to, things aren't going to come easy. It translates so well to the academic side and the professional side, whatever that is they do in life. And so sometimes we celebrate it like, oh, it's the jocks. And the answer is, it's not about the jocks, or I'm not sure what the female version of jocks is, but whatever, it's the process and what they learn in competing and how they take that and apply that to their whole life, right? And that's what I like to hear, is the celebration of how we can bring the two of these things together. We didn't talk about it so much today, but these teams do so much more than compete, right? There was quite a few of them who talked about, the average GPA was like an appalling 3.73, right? Isn't that amazing, right? Or, these kids, they didn't talk as much about, but they also get involved and they give back to the community. They have drives. They do this, they do that. Those are the things that we kind of take for granted. That's part of athletics. And I really think, we talk about the brain. There's the, I should ask the kid who studied the brain, right? But there's the, there's the mathematical side and there's the creative side. I'm not sure where sports fits in, but it does help build both sides of the brain and makes us better. And I just want to communicate to Brian the heartfelt appreciation, not about they won a state championship, but what they learned from the process of putting, the practice and the competing and the teamwork and being the brotherhood and sisterhood and backing each other up, because that's ultimately what life's about. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to drive their success in the future. So I just want to make that comment. I thought it was really important. And sometimes we don't, it seems like always he leaves by the time we get to say this kind of stuff. Please pass that on to him.
Yeah, I just want to thank the team, first and foremost. I mean, this is not an easy thing to put on. I mean, this was academics, hundreds of kids, athletes, hundreds of kids, restorative practices circle. You guys, just like you do everything, freshman orientation, the welcome, homecoming, world-class work. I just want to thank the team over here. You guys do such a fantastic job, and I'm always just overboard impressed with you guys, and thank you so much for doing that. I wish we had more nights like this. Like I know it's a point of pride among all of us that we do something like a dozen school meetings like this, and we're all inspired by them, and they're fantastic, and they are the best meetings that we have. We learn the way that we did tonight at all those. It's a point of pride, I think, for us that we're one of the only districts, I think, that does that, right? We've talked about how important these are to us, and tonight was just evidence of that, how important it is to get into this kind of space and hear from our kids, right? These are our future. These are the constituency that we serve. These are the voices that we need to hear, what they're seeing out in the world and what they need, so we can, do whatever that we can to help them have happy and successful lives. So I think these nights are so fantastic. Before I get into some, kind of my big comment, how can you not congratulate and celebrate all this academic and athletic success? Getting better every day. I mean, 65 National Merit Scholars. We had, division, regional, conference, state champs across the board, across 8 teams, at least by my count. Just fantastic. And just like everybody has said, it's hard to, don't take this for granted. This is a really special place, and these kids are really doing some special stuff. So congratulations to them. And that brings me to, the kids' comments in the circle up here. And we all have our list of 8 to 10 things that these kids came up with off the top of their heads that are on their minds and how we could do better and what we can bring to them. But that comment about there being no opportunity to learn from mistakes or make mistakes is really resonating with me right now. I mean, you think about how hard it is to get into some of these colleges. There is no room for mistakes. There is almost no room. You get an A- in one class in 4 years, 3 years, and you could be crossing off colleges on your list. One grade that is off mark. And what does that say about, the ability to make mistakes and really learn? I think we have a really difficult balance to try to strike across successful kids across the athletic and academic background or spectrum, and then allowing kids to make mistakes and really grow in that way too. I don't know what the answer is, but it is a very tough balance to strike. And then my final point, I guess, is the areas of focus that you had on the board there. They weren't, raise our collective GPA by X percent or get into X percent more schools or 65 to 68 merit scholars next year. It's relationships first. MTSS, SEL, PBIS, instructional practices, student voice, teacher voice, parent voice, DEI, AI, super important things. I just think it's awesome to be looking at. The top of the list is relationships first. You saw it here tonight. And I just want to say hats off to the team. As always, I'll probably say this until I'm blue in the face, but thank you for a super inspiring night and for focusing on these types of things that are so important for the kids. So thank you again. Let's just give these guys a round of applause. Anything else before we move on? Any other questions or comments? All right, great job tonight, NHS team. So that brings us to, I believe, either our superintendent's report or ABCD awards. What was the decision?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead right into ABCD. Before we jump in, and I'm not sure if you've all sorted out who's going to take who on your list, but just want to thank from really poignant comments from each board member. I thank you for listening to our kids and sharing your thoughts on what you heard from them, leaving no doubt in them that they were heard. And really, that's, I think, all anybody wants to ask for, is to be heard when they speak. And some people speak and their voice shakes because they're nervous or I need to check in on that, right? Some people can seem to speak with authority, but we all know they're scared or misinformed. But what we can all do is listen to each other. And thanks for acknowledging verbally to those kids that they were heard tonight, because they deserve to be heard. And we deserve to build and go forward, build off the excellence that this district has had, but also it's incumbent upon us to push ourselves to see how we can be better, in Tony's words, every day. Better every day. and you don't have to be sick to be that. So let's get to those ABCDs.
Okay, so the ABCD awards are awards where we recognize, well, where they were nominated by students, parents, other colleagues to for staff that has gone above and beyond the call of duty. And I just want to say tonight in particular, my board colleagues are lucky they got to do any of these because I wanted to sign up for all of them. But I was kind, didn't put my name in every space. So whoever has Mr. Johnson.
I think I have the first one. I have Brian Johnson, the auditorium manager here at the high school. I'm curious, I see some people up in the box up there, so he's here doing his job up there. So thank you from down on the floor. You have been nominated by a parent and a student on separate submissions. The first one is from a parent. Mr. Johnson has been such an outstanding mentor for drama and theater students. He's taken the time to go above and beyond working with the students. My daughter loves theater, but he also sparked an interest in her to learn about behind the scenes. She loves being part of the program and feels like she fits right in. The student says, Mr. Bryan is the advisor for our NHS Drama Club. Myself and others are so thankful for his kindness and support in helping us form such a beautiful group. He provides us with everything we need. He's not an advisor, but our friend and mentor. So from way down here, we have your award. I will make sure you get it afterwards. So congratulations.
I am lucky to be able to give this award to Miss Aluya. So I have a feeling that being a principal is a really big job, but I also know that being an assistant principal comes with its own challenges that require discipline of students. And I keep thinking about behavioral health, mental health, behavioral health, mental health. Sometimes outward behavior is a sign that someone is struggling on the inside and they don't know how to express it, that we know that kids will do well when they can. So I'm really happy to be able to give you this award. Written by a parent, submitted by a parent, not this parent, but I would echo these words. Just wanted to share our sincerest thank you. It has not been an easy transition for us, but your leadership and positive attitude have helped us pull through. We really appreciate your follow-up emails and your constant dedication to keep us parents updated and informed. Your dedication is much appreciated. We feel so fortunate to have you as our assistant principal during these challenging times. Thank you for all that you do. Your impact on our lives can never be forgotten. So as a person who has to discipline students, I see that what really happens is that you foster success in working through really difficult times. So thank you so much, Ms. Aluya.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I should have shown the orange. All right. Well, the audience has thinned out a little bit. Is Gabe Pack here? Not here tonight. Well, Mr. Pack, I am very pleased to be able to let you know that you've been nominated by a parent for Above and Beyond work with your, in relationship to your field trip that you planned for your CAD engineering students to the University of Michigan Hydrodynamics Lab. And I want you to know that I looked into that lab, actually. I thought, oh, I was pretty curious about that. And that's a 113-year-old historic lab on the campus of the University of Michigan that has been recently restored. It's in the University College of Engineering, the Department of Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. And one of their areas of focus is offshore energy research, and which includes wind. And Mr. Peck took his students to the lab where they built and tested their own small-scale model wind turbines. So connecting the dots from what we heard from the student voices in the Restorative Practices Circle is, what do real people do with these kinds of areas that we're studying in class? And so what he did is he packed them up, took them to the U, took them to the lab, the hydrodynamics lab, and they got to trial and error, accepting failure and falling short, and then adjusting to come back from that failure in a real life setting with researchers and scientists. So this parent goes on that he told his students not to be afraid of failure, that it is part of the learning process in which you are afforded the opportunity to test and test again to get the desired end results. Boy, is that just not the perfect comment to have in today's meeting. His pure love of teaching and sharing his real-world knowledge firsthand was immediately recognizable, as was the respect his students have for him in return. Mr. Pack joyfully demonstrates the love of learning for learning's sake, and encourages his students to not only focus solely on end grades, but to truly enjoy the journey and the process of getting there. Thank you, Mr. Pack. You are the kind of teacher that we all celebrate and are so fortunate to have in our high school working with our students. So because of your teaching excellence and the recognition by this parent for the extra effort you put in with your CAD students and taking them to test their wind turbines, we have an award for you. And please accept our hearty congratulations.
Okay. I have the pleasure of reading from about Ms. Oberkite, who is a science teacher here at the high school, and she was nominated by a student. And the student says that Ms. Oberkite is a great teacher who makes learning about chemistry fun and interesting. Sometimes chemistry can be difficult to understand, but she is always willing to help her students understand. Her personality makes going to class enjoyable because she always tries to engage her students in the learning process. Ms. Oberkite has created a safe environment where her students feel comfortable asking for help if they don't understand the material or if it is something personal related and they need advice. So thank you, Ms. Oberkite.
All right, so I have the opportunity to shine a light on Monica Miller. She is an art teacher here at the high school, and a student nominated her for this ABCD award, and the student stated as follows. Mrs. Miller makes her room a safe space for everyone there. She always lends a listening ear and really helped me grow as a student. She consistently does check-ins with students and gives really good advice. She makes sure we have time to be creative and use our brain, and makes class incredibly engaging. So on behalf of our administrative leadership team and the Board of Education, thank you, Mrs. Miller, for your contributions and efforts to enhance our school community. Here's your ABCD award. All right.
So I'd like to invite two amazing human beings who serve our community. Jody, all of you are going to go up? I love this. So our PTSA, and having been to a number of meetings last week, and Ron, I think you're making the circuit. I saw you at 3 of them, which is amazing. Have some things that they'd like to share with our Board of Education. So I believe there should be a mic up on the podium there if you guys want to head up there and talk about your generosity of spirit and resources. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start with the word grateful. Feeling or showing an appreciation of kindness. So on behalf of the Northville Council of PTAs, which represents all 10 of the Northville Schools PTA units, we are very grateful for your time and dedication to our schools. Although we most know people don't volunteer to get thanked, it is important to show or express gratitude. Tonight gives our Northville PTAs an opportunity to give our thanks to you. Giving thanks makes you happier. They also say focusing on others and contributing to the community create positive feelings. Being happy doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. It ebbs and flows. But being as consciously and continuously grateful as possible gives you a pathway towards more positivity and contentment. And Anne Frank also said, whoever's happy makes others happy. So the Northville Council gift to you is happy notes to use whenever you need it, a happy quote sticker, and a crumble cookie so you can indulge in a little bit of sweet happiness. And we are truly grateful. And remember, gratitude is strongly associated with greater happiness, so thank you. And these are also great PTA leaders. We have Devin Schlotkin from Silver Springs, Jody Roden, everybody knows, from Northville High School, and this is Ron Fraser from Meetnam. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, we always joke the fact that we got here on the board because of the great pay, right? And really, not every meeting's pretty in that, but this board's pretty dedicated, and we do it because, we're part of this community. Our kids are part of this community. Our kids, I know certainly I got into it because of my daughter and that. And so we do it for the love of our kids first. We do it for the love of this community, which is really unique, right? Northville is unlike anything else in Michigan. It's a huge district, a lot of kids, but we have this very small community. One of the kids up there said the one word was community, or maybe that was you that said community. I don't know. But it's a small community in a big thing, and that's what makes it special. And that's why we volunteer. We're part of this community. We want it to stay strong. We want it to stay like it's at. And if we do that, we know that our kids are going to have a probability of coming out the other end and being successful too. So thank you. Although I do love the damn cookies. They are great.
I was going to say, I don't know about you. I do it for the cookies. So thank you. I appreciate that.
It means a lot to me to be thanked by the four of you. I mean, there are a lot of people that could thank us, and I would be so grateful and so, appreciative of their words. But when people who give and have given to this community, people I met when our kids were 2, people I met and see on the sports fields and running the MTSS and coming to these board meetings, like, I can't tell you how much I see you guys, meaning like in the deeper sense, and I really appreciate what you guys do. This stuff comes with a title. A lot of what you guys do doesn't, and stuff would just grind to a halt. Like, lots of organizations and things that are happening around here would not happen without parents like you guys, and there's nobody who does it better. And I just really put a lot of weight on you guys coming tonight and spending your night to do this.
So, Ms. Prescott, you put me in mind of, it was Jody Roden, when my kids were at Ammerman, who sat me down and asked me if I wanted to be on the PTA board the following year. And I know that if I had not had lunch with her at Edwards, which no longer exists, that day I would not be sitting here. So what you said is so true. And I really appreciate that.
I think I would put your contribution, in the category of inspiring action and through so many people, not only having lunch with Karen at Edwards and producing her wonderful membership on the board, but also I've sat in so many PTA meetings that are packed full of other parents who are mobilized because you have created a space, you've provided a welcome opening for creativity coming from all directions, and also to to just build commitment to work for the greater good. And it is for the greater good. It's all of our kids. And Ron and the robotics and your work at Winchester, and Devin at Silver Spring, and I'm the liaison at the high school, so I know intimately the work that it takes to create the quality of life in our buildings. And you are the leaders, and I bow to you because it's an immense amount of work and commitment, and you're experts at it. So thank you very much.
I feel like we're moving through this generation, right? That Jody, we also met at Ammerman all those years ago, and to see Devin, you joining, right? And to see kind of how strong the PTAs are in Northville, and the co-council really kind of continues that stewardship and that leadership through the generations, is amazing, right? I don't think that many other communities have that strength in parent participation, and really continuing just to show up and be available and be a sounding board and being a thought leader. And it really takes all of us together to make Northville what it is, which is such a special place to raise a family. And it was really cool to see that little kiddo who was in first grade now up on the stage talking about some really vulnerable things that I think impact all of us and help us think ahead to, okay, how do we keep doing those things? Because it's working, right? It's working to give kids what they need. So I appreciate the thanks and want to reflect it back to each of you too, that we can't do what we do up here without everybody doing their different parts as well. And that really involves each of you and your collective PTAs in each of the schools. So appreciate you guys being here to represent that voice.
I just want to say thank you to the four of you. You're so important to everything, whether it's online, in person, and everything across the board. I mean, you guys are so present, and you do such a great job at what you do. And Jody, I mean, it's like there's Northville Public Schools, and then the next thing on the list is Jody Roden and involvement and all that. So I just want to say thank you to the four of you and as well.
And I'd just like to finish up with, so Leslie talked about gratitude and that piece, and that's something that being in buildings and around you and your space, that's something that you live. And it's not always easy to share those things and to put them out there. And I'm grateful that you went up to the podium and chose to speak that. But we get to know each other through our kids sometimes. And because I'm in buildings as often as I am, and I have the privilege of teaching, the four of you have done good. I just want you to know that. You are a reflection. Your kids are a reflection of you. It's not a surprise that you thoughtfully, as I look down this table, we're going to have to get a cart for all the stuff for the board members, or maybe have somebody like bring it out to their vehicles, like thoughtfulness, books, thoughtfully chosen for board members. Jim, when he saw his book, was over the moon because
I love the choices they got for me. I think in my engineering background, they picked some great stuff. I'm like, yes, write books.
And those are the small things that aren't small things. And really, well, we all sit up at this table, and our teams over here and over here are phenomenal. Really, the true cornerstone of a community public school district are caring parents. Just is. So thank you. And finally, I'd like to finish up with a statement I'd like to read right now for the Board of Education. The foundation of our community public schools is represented in the 7 Northville, also known as Northvillians. Didn't know that before I came here. I like that. Community members who choose to serve our children and our families. Each Board of Education member was called in some way. Maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a teacher, maybe, as Jim said, his own child, to serve our community. Each bring their own professional and personal talents to bear on that, on myriad types of things to try to solve or ideate around and so on. And they generously share their time and talent to provide the opportunity for each Northville student to live the life that they deserve. So on behalf of our students, the folks that I get to work beside each and every day, who are true gifts to this world as well, our educators, our support staff, and myself, we're all grateful for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Dr. Weber, does that conclude your superintendent's report, or just?
Well, I think we've had a robust one tonight, so yes, it does.
All right. That brings us to our first opportunity for public comment tonight. Any takers? I'm not going to go through the rules. Going once, going twice. That closes our first opportunity. That brings us to our bid awards. Dr. Campbell Boytel, our treasurer, please.
Okay. I bring motion 72 that the board authorize, pardon my cough tonight, the administration to award contracts in an amount not to exceed $6,504,370 for the following projects or purchases. A, NHS baseball, softball synthetic turf totaling $2,751,407 funded through Bond 2023, and project fencing totaling $189,926 funded through the 2020 sinking fund. B, playground equipment replacement for Moraine, Silver Spring, and Winchester totaling $860,000 funded through the Bond 2023. C, the C High, where's Andrew? Is it SEHI or, okay, SEHI computer products, pardon me, for HP printers totaling $196,855 funded through Bond 2023. D, Inacomp TSG for HP Chromebooks and HP laptops totaling $2,416,632. And E, Inacomp TSG for Earthwalk Chromebook carts totaling $89,550 funded through Bond 2023 as presented.
Support.
All right, so I have a motion properly presented by Dr. Campbell Boytel and supported by Mr. Mazurik. Any discussion on any of these items? I know they were probably vetted.
They were discussed in detail at the subcommittee, but I actually wanted to make a point out to the parents who have invested an awful lot in giving and caring about the playground development. And I just wanted to give a shout out, I think, to Steve Banchero and Mike Soft's team, who went, I think, above and beyond. Maybe they get an ABCD award tonight too. But in terms of the collaborative approach that they used at the building level, so there's several steps, you know, to liberating money for these playgrounds. But in the I counted 7 steps actually in the process. They embraced parent, student, teacher, and building leaders in each of those 3 elementary schools to sit and provide some upstream input in the design and the choice of the equipment, and actually contributed to the choice of the vendor ultimately. And then some downstream input into the tailoring once the vendor was identified, working to tailor to the unique needs and interests of those school families. So I think that, you know, there's a lot of work behind moving these projects forward in the bond, but I think that this district goes a very long mile in creating spaces for collaborative input of parents and teachers, as well as building leaders, to really make the best decisions possible. And I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you, Steve. Oh, there. Thank you, Steve, for running that kind of a process and allowing that kind of level of input in the final product. And I know that the building, all of the building renos are going to, you know, run with that kind of building input, and that you have, you know, that's just your style of working. I don't think this is an unusual effort. I just want to make sure that we put a pin on it tonight, that it was a notable effort for the playground decision. So thank you for that.
All right, some great things in these bid awards. All those in favor? Yeah, no,
Can
go
I
ahead. Yep.
just make a comment? So one thing that really stood out to me was the printer purchases. And, you know, it's not as exciting as turf on baseball and softball fields, but as a PTA leader and as a, you know, science Olympiad leader in the elementary school, and having worked in one of the elementary schools, the printer, if the printer goes down, the day stops. And so this, as much as all the playgrounds and the athletic fields are really exciting and they're going to be great, I think the thing that the teachers and the staff in the school are going to be more excited about are new printers. So I am very happy to see that on the list and very excited for all of the teachers and the staff to get to use those new printers. So.
All right, well said. All those in favor of new printers and turf and playground equipment? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the bid awards passed. Thank you so much for that. Do we have any added items tonight?
No, sir.
Oh, all right. Second of two opportunities for public comment tonight. Going once, going twice. Gone. Questions, comments from board members? 13 on our agenda.
Just one comment. Parks and Rec meeting is tomorrow. They're going to be going through the master plan feedback and things like that. And I thought there was some actually interesting information in there that I'll share with Mike over there. I'll give you some information because they want to talk about is, having control of certain facilities and things like that. I said, wonder if they want to come up with some money and buy some of our buildings off of us, because we right now lease some of our buildings to them for like $1 a year in that. But anyways, I'll show you the details. We're going to go through that tomorrow, and I guess that's just the one piece of comment.
All
Jim,
right.
I'm sorry that I'm missing something. Can you? This is embarrassing to say, but what do we lease? What do we own that we lease to them? For
So we own the community center, which Parks and Recreation uses for senior, and we
Fair.
also obviously own Hillside, the gym, which I forgot what their terminology is for it, but they use for Parks and Recreation as well.
Okay. I just was like, buildings plural. I was like, what? Another
The
building.
senior center was built on the playground for Old Village.
The Wayne County Association of School Boards has to update their bylaws every 3 years, and this is apparently one of the years. So in the Friday update, you should be receiving their recommended bylaw changes. They look to be just, updates to reflect what's happening with the executive board currently. But if you do have any questions or anything or comments for me, I'll plan on attending the meeting where we vote in the middle of February. So.
I'd just like to say, Karen, at the community celebration of Martin Luther King's birthday, there was a Wayne Risa officer in the audience anyway, and he sought me out to chat a little bit about what's happening with. He lives locally, but anyway, your name was spoken, and I said we are kept very up to date with the information from your your comments that you bring to the board. So thank you for that. And he felt reassured, I believe, that we were paying attention. But that's because of you.
I had a couple of quick things. I was really impressed by the unanimity. We don't get a lot of unanimity, especially with divisive issues from the public. I think I was really amazed by the unanimity of people on different sides of the medical clinic vote that mental health is people called it a silent epidemic. Other people had other words for it, but that people were concerned from all walks of life and all sides of spectrums of the actual issue that was before us. And it got me thinking whether NEF might be able to fund, and this is a question I don't know the answer to, like, would there be a possibility of funding dedicated clinical psychologist or psychiatry through NEF? Because it seemed to me that if there was a particular earmark of donation, we heard a lot of people being very supportive of the idea of us leaning into providing only NPS services of that kind. So I just didn't know if that's a possibility. I know there's different rules for different money. Not that I'm not asking if the fundraising could occur. I'm asking if it did occur, could that be provided?
Could it go to that?
Yeah, I'm not aware of
It doesn't have to be answered now. It's,
Yeah, I would say that our team could definitely look into that.
yeah, I mean, it's just a question. So, and then following up on some of those other things that people talked about, I think those are sort of, we talk about big rocks or heavy lifts or things that are maybe like going towards hard things. And I definitely have been concerned about cell phones and screen time, and then also start time for the high school. Although I did hear a great comment today about getting how great seminar is for the kids. I know that those are not easy issues, and I know that they're not going to be one point of view about them. But I think that the data or the research would be pretty aligned that screens and cell phones bad, early start time for high schoolers bad, and we perpetuate these systems because they are what we have. But I just wonder what we could be doing as a board, if that's something that we could maybe be thinking about taking on.
Do you want that on the list?
I mean, I guess what I heard is I think I heard the public. So, Kim's question, I don't know if everyone could hear it, was, do I want it? I mean, yes, I do. But also I think I don't want it as much as I want it. And I heard members of the public,
There did seem to be some.
talking about these things. And I know, for example, later start times, my daughter was asking me, why don't we just let the elementary switch with the high school? And I was like, sports, babysitting, jobs, and teachers who are used to their schedule. Those are the 4 reasons. So it's not like there aren't reasons.
Kindergartners have a hard time getting up at 6.
But I agree. I think, how about this idea? Maybe we can place on our next regular meeting agenda just some information around start times and why we do it. What's the rationale for that early? And then maybe as a parking lot item, I think it needs to be seconded. I'll second the start time if we want to have them separate, or just one line item in our parking lot item that is cell phones and start times. I'm kind of envisioning.
Yeah, to me, those would be 2 separate issues,
Yeah.
right? That I think the cell phone piece, there's so many parts to that, right? It's multi-layered. So I wonder if it would be an easier conversation to separate those 2. I don't know if easier is the right word, because I think they'll both be difficult conversations, but there are many layers to them.
Well, how about this? Could the team put together just some 10 minutes on start times? What's the rationale and kind of the mechanics around why we start when we start? That would be on the next regular, and then committee of the whole. I think we can talk about adding things to parking lot. I don't know if that makes, unless folks have other ideas on how to proceed on these.
Yeah, we'd be happy to.
What was that?
We'd be happy to put that together for you.
Anything else? Yeah.
One last comment I wanted to make, and there's a Wall Street Journal article, and it's related to the books that there's many books here on the table that have been purchased by the various PTAs and going to be donated to libraries. But there's a Wall Street Journal article either yesterday or today, I can't remember. I'll find it and forward it on. But it talked about kids and learning. They did a study and about kids who used real physical books versus reading things just on screen time, and how there actually is statistical difference. There is something different about your engagement and how you view and get involved in something when you're touching a physical book versus, these just throw it on the screen, right? And so I just want to make that comment. I appreciate the physical books. I appreciate that we still love libraries and that we still push kids with the physical things. And I would not be surprised in the coming years if there becomes more data that kind of says in learning modes that regardless of how fast the technology is changing, everything onto a flat screen may not be the best way for kids to really go. So I'll forward that article to RJ, to you and the staff.
Thank you.
But I am curious to see how that plays itself out in the future. But seeing these books here made me remember that, and I appreciate the physical books that we still support libraries.
Yeah. I'll add to that a little bit. I just spent the last couple of days studying with my daughter, who's a freshman here, for U.S. history. And, at the beginning of the term, we bought both the book and, she's got it on her laptop. And she tends to study things on her laptop, which I find incredibly frustrating. I don't know how they do that. I marked, we're lucky we're not going to be able to keep these books because I'd mark up like these little kids' books and like find some crazy meaning and all that. But my point, I think we're on the same page. A physical book, she would carry around the history book if it was lighter. I mean, this thing is like a 20-pound weight. 2 or 3 or 4 of those, and it's going to make your backpack unwieldy. But I don't know. It is crazy to me that kids can learn off just their laptop screen, books that usually we dig into and dog ear the pages and mark up, and it's just a lot more difficult to do, in an electronic version of the books. I don't know what there is to do about that, but just to dovetail off your point, Jim.
I would just say that that's part of what I'm talking about the screens is just with COVID, I just felt like every limit or effort at a limit I had in the world about screens went flying out the window. And then I kept coming to board meetings voting for e-versions of books. And now my children say, I am studying, and they are not. But I mean, well, am I supposed to stand over them? But at least, when in my day, in the ancient era, you had them sit at the table with a book. And, it's harder for parents with the screens. And maybe it's the world we are in. Maybe we, I don't know. I think we all get it that there are pluses and minuses, but I would echo that's part of what I mean about the cell phones and the screens.
Well, I guess that's what I'm glad you brought that back up again, because I was going to ask a clarifying question. So I know that we were going to put the start times on the docket. Is the screens going to be placed, the cell phone usage? I'm assuming, did you mean in schools or did you mean?
I mean, maybe I mean parent camp. Maybe I mean education. Maybe I mean, do we have a Northville pact where we all agree that our preferred method is not to get phones till 7th or 8th or 9th grade? Do we have,
well, that seems like that's a very wide scope.
It is a wide scope.
I'm wondering where you want us to delve into it sooner. Do you want us
yeah.
to something for, the parking lot or something to be?
I guess I come at it from what I see is a mental health crisis, and what I see is every person I know always looking like this at all times, and especially under 18. And so I don't know, I'm not a social scientist, but it seems to me maybe we should get in that fight and maybe we should lead on that. And I don't know how. I'm not saying textbooks, I'm not saying parent camp. I'm backing out from the problem and saying it seems to me like this is a thing that we do have some power and control over. And maybe Mr. Koski, Mr. O'Neill, our leaders would say it's not happening, right? I'm not saying I have solutions. I'm just saying that seems like a point of entry.
Dialogue and getting some.
Yeah, it seems like a point of entry to address
that piece.
An illness that's seeping through our children, period.
In terms of an agenda item for our next meeting, my only suggestion is not putting something on for any sort of formal vote or anything, but just sort of when it comes to start times, just give us a little 10 minutes on, what is the history of our start times and why do we do it at these times, and just to get our kind of mental.
What are the moving pieces?
The mechanics of moving pieces. And maybe the same can be done around screens and cell phones.
Yeah, I would be interested in that because I know at the elementary level they are even. They're probably obviously it's not as prevalent, but I'm sure there are some. So just wondering how different schools handle it would be interesting to know what's happening in our various schools.
Or what do the principals say about this? I'm not the expert, but or Aaron or RJ, am I off base? Maybe I should just be that's the world and we're going to maximize.
No, I don't think you're off base. I think Miss Stewart and Mr. Fraser have something that is perfect for next week. And this is, I brought this author into Novi actually last year to speak to before I was leaving
the book club,
to our community, because it's a vexing issue that all of us, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, struggle with, even ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it out of all of us. Let's not just take a look at kids, but it's us. And it's going to, if we really want, we do have the ability to make some moves in the district to do things, but do we have the courage to do it? And that's the question I have. There are people who feel all over the kind of the spectrum on that. But I think if you talk to a middle school 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teacher, it is a wrestle. And that attention is a wrestle for them. And I'm happy to have these conversations and hopefully take some action and make the world a bit better place for all of us.
So I want to take the opportunity to give one last plug for the overbooked book club meeting that's going to be this Thursday. I spent my snow days reading. That's what I did. And I checked this book out of the library, and so I couldn't highlight and I couldn't mark it up like I normally do. So I have lots of little sticky notes in here. But the book is Screenwise, Helping Kids Thrive and Survive in Their Digital World. And I am just over halfway. So I've got some more reading to do. But it's going to be some really good conversations, I think.
Can't wait.
Because it's been, I mean, you can see all my sticky notes, and I have been sitting with a little notepad like, oh my gosh, what about this page? And we got to talk about this. And it's been a really good book. So I would highly recommend it for, even if you can't come to the book club, and you can come to the book club and you don't have to have read the book. So it's going to be, I think, a really good conversation with Carrie Ann Sondrial from Northville Youth Network. Does an amazing job researching and putting together questions and discussion points. And then she also usually has handouts that have reference links and websites and other reference materials for parents. So it's always really good.
All right, anything else? And I'll call us a,
I was just going to say, I think the breakout sessions at Parent Camp are posted.
Yeah.
Are they posted?
A lot of them are. There's still some
yet to come.
All I can say is wow to the list. Oh my
yeah, I bet you
That'd
was.
be awesome.
February 3rd.
February 3rd.
all right, parent camp. On that note, I'll call us adjourned at 9:30. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So